All right, let's go.
Let's do it.
There's a rumble in the distance, something stirring up the ground. Coffee shops and corner stores, people talking all around. But the words they're speaking softly got a weight that pulls you down. Something's moving through the grapevine, word by word from town to town. And they lean in close to tell you what they heard somebody say. But the truth gets bent and twisted as it travels on its way. Who do you trust? When the talk gets low, who do you trust? When the whispers grow in the halls of power where the secrets flow, who do you trust? Tell me who do you trust? Backroom deals and handshake, promises sliding underneath the door. Politicians playing poker with the chips are rich and poor. Every word's a calculation, every pause worth so much more. While the people keep on waiting for the truth they're hungry for. And they lean in close to tell you what they heard somebody say. But the truth gets bent and twisted as it travels on its way. Who do you trust? When the talk gets low, who do you trust? When the whispers grow in the halls of power where the secrets flow, do you trust? Tell me who do you trust? Growing thicker, every lie becomes the truth, and the honest voices calling sound like strangers in the booth. We're all just trying to listen to the static and the noise, but the loudest information drowns out the quieter voice. Who do you trust? When the talk gets low, who you trust? When the whispers grow in the halls of power where the secrets flow, who you trust? Tell me who do you trust? Who you trust? Do you trust? Do you trust? Do you trust? When the whispers grow.
Good evening, everybody. This is the Political Theater. Thank you guys for joining us this evening. This is Walter Kurt and Trash Discourse, weeknights at 9. Thank you guys for showing up this evening. This show is brought to you by The Wellness Company. Take back control of your health from The Wellness Company. Go to twc.health/TPT and use code TPT at checkout for 10% off. Thank you guys for showing up this evening. We've got a lot to talk about this evening. The cartels are not going to make it. I don't know if you guys saw Trump today, but some of these clips are some of the best clips I have ever heard. This is amazing. And the one clip I want to play before I do anything else, because it was just so spectacular. It's only 45 seconds, but it is absolutely worth playing. So this is a perfect way to open the show, because it was just, as soon as I saw this, I probably watched it like a dozen times just because I was laughing so hard. And someone even took out like the perfect section of it to make it even better, where they just had the final bit that he said here. So I'm just going to go ahead and play this here because this was so perfect that it's just worth opening the show with. So
and briefed them on the operations.
No, we
against
will
these.
go. I said.
You will go, and
We
it would
will
be
go. We're
difficult
gonna
for them to
go.
object.
I don't see any loss in going. No reason not to. You know, they'll always complain, oh, we should have gone. So we're going to definitely, I'd like to just tell you, let's go. We'll go.
And Mr.
We're going to
President-
tell them what we're going to do, and I think they're going to probably like it, except for the radical left lunatics.
And Mr. President, if you are declaring war against these cartels and Congress is likely to approve of that process, why not just ask for a declaration of war?
Well, I don't think we're going to necessarily ask for a declaration of war. I think we're just going to kill people that are bringing drugs into our country. Okay? We're going to kill them. You know, they're going to be like dead. Okay?
And brief.
So, no one else speaks like this. But that clip alone right there was just so much for me. As soon as I heard that, they're going to be like dead, I love it. This is the kind of stuff that only Trump says. This is the kind of stuff that only he can get away with saying, and it is just fantastic. He's like, we're just going to kill him, and you're just going to have to get over it. So, every cartel member in the entire world, as soon as they saw that, they had a little bit of a panic that just hit them. They definitely just all, had to go change their pants as a result of that because, I don't think he's kidding. I think he's going to go kill them, and I think they are going to be, like, dead. So I thought that was fantastic, and I think that's a great way to open the show because, of course, the Democrats are still screaming about this, how, due process. Who was it the other day that I got after about this? It was Rand Paul. I think one of our favorite accounts on the show, L.H. Gray, had a really long rant against Rand Paul that I thought was great. I thought it was very funny. I mean, she just completely eviscerated him in that, which she's very good at that. I love her posts talking about that. It's usually just the most savage reply ever. But it's absolutely accurate. I can't stand these people that are like, oh, my goodness, we need due process. We need due process for the drug cartels that are killing American citizens on a regular basis. What are you talking about when you due process? Where's the due process when Obama was droning people in the Middle East? Did you ask for due process then? So we didn't need due process for those killings, but we need due process for the drug cartel killings because, in the Middle East, they're not killing Americans. They're killing people from other countries. But in this case, they're actually killing lots of Americans, tens of thousands of Americans every single year. But we're not allowed to kill them, though. I mean, I don't understand the concept. I don't get it. Okay, like what due process are you supposed to give random drug boats in the middle of the Venezuela, like outside of the Gulf of America? Like, I'm sorry, I don't care. Blow them out of the water. Kill them all. And I think Trump is doing that. So it is very entertaining to watch. So we're going to get into this. We got a lot more to talk about. The Democrats of Virginia have decided to play dirty. They are spiraling. They are absolutely losing their minds. Trash, I have to love that all of the stuff that you put in this because, again, we didn't even speak today. This is all of the stuff you put in the show title on the X space is exactly what I want to talk about this evening because this gambling ring is crazy. The cartels is ridiculous. And the Democrats in Virginia are just absolutely going over the hills. I mean, this is the newest thing, and we'll get into this later. But they are actually in the process right now of calling a special session of the legislature so that they get Winsome Sears off the campaign trail. And they're winning, guys. Don't you know? Like, that's what you do when you win. Like, when you're up 10 points, you often have to call a special legislative session so that way your opponent stays off the campaign trail. That's common. Everyone knows that. That's normal. You also have Obama and everybody else show up too. So, Jasmine Crockett was even down there now. So, there is lots going on. We're going to get into a lot of that. And we've also got some funny stuff. Apparently, De Niro was doing some ridiculous stuff on MSNBC, which was worth paying attention to. And we've got other stuff to go into. So, guys, thank you guys for showing up. Make sure you guys share this link out. This is the Political Theater Weeknights at 9. Thank you guys for showing up. This is sponsored by The Wellness Company. Go check out The Wellness Company at twc.health/TPT. All right, Trash, what do you have for us first, buddy?
Well, I actually sent you a clip to go in on the cartels first because it was a little known clip that I had kind of tucked into my pocket yesterday, and I didn't know if we could get to it or not. But now that Trump's now gone 2 days in a row about the cartels, it was Marco Rubio, and it was hilarious, and it was inside the White House. We've got that. Yeah, I think this is the news of the day. Just for people, so they really understand, we do not pre-show. I mean, yes, we do on our own, but at the end of the day, we don't like pre-game. We just kind of like start going at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 Eastern. But I do need to make a small correction. So this LH Gray account, remember when I first came across her reply to Obama? it read to me like a disaffected liberal. She very well may be. I mean, there's a lot of us. We talked about this a little bit. It turns out she was not a liberal at all. I mean, she could be a disaffected, but she wasn't really a lefty at all that was yelling at Obama. She's based, and she's updated her profile. She's that Gray, Grey, I believe 4626, LH Gray with an E. But super based, a lot of fun. Probably one of my favorite reply accounts out there. And it's not like they just talk a little bit; like they go lengthy. Like they are seriously precision strike missile takedowns. So really good stuff there. I wanted to correct that record on recording here. And then I guess I could just tee this up because this gambling thing is crazy. I'm sure you have the Cash Patel clip. If not, I can send it to you. The Dems are spiraling, but it's not just in Virginia. It's everywhere. Matter of fact, you got Hakeem Jeffries coming out today. We're going to get to him again. He's already switching tactics. He's not talking about shutdown anymore. Now he's talking about the White House. So fantastic. They don't know where to land. They don't know where to go, and they are rudderless, as we say on this program very often. And we have been proven right. But the Marco Rubio will go well with the intro with having the Trump clip, because Marco also answered that question yesterday.
Yeah, let's play this Marco clip because I did want to. This is something I saw yesterday, but we did not have time to get to it. So let's get into this now.
I mean, the question is, bottom line, these are drug boats. If people want to stop seeing drug boats blow up, stop sending drugs to the United States.
But does it matter if it's in the United States?
Well, these are all in international waters. The boat.
Do a strike in the United States, or if North America?
Well, that's a different matter. Now you're talking about a law enforcement matter. In this particular case, there are people traveling on international waters headed towards the United States with hostilities in mind, which includes flooding our country with dangerous, deadly drugs. And they're going to be stopped. And that's what's happening. And in the case last week, you saw there was a submarine. It was a submarine. It was a submersible. That's a drug boat all the way through. We know what these boats are. The president just said it. We track them from the very beginning. We know who's on them, who they are, where they're coming from, what they have on them. If you're running drug boats, you're in grave danger. Well, I mean, the question...
You're in grave danger. I love that. That's just such a great line. You're in grave danger. Danger, Will Robinson. Yes. If you bring drugs to the United States, I want you to be afraid. Like, I mean, why is this such a complicated concept, Trash? I don't understand it. I don't know why the Democrats defend these people. Like, here's something that really bothers me about this. Like, is it on a personal level, okay? On a personal level, this bothers me a lot whenever they talk about the drug stuff, because I don't know how old most of the people that listen to the show are. I have no idea how old you are, but when you were growing up, when you were in college and just after college, most people knew somebody and knew a friend or somebody that died of a car accident. That was very common. Everyone knew somebody that died of a car accident. Well, my generation, it's the opposite of that. It is most people my age know more than one person who has died of a drug overdose. More than one. And in my case, I went to very nice schools. I had, a great education from, private schools, and I went to a military boarding school. 5 out of the 6 people that I used to hang out with on a regular basis in my military boarding school are all dead from a drug overdose. Every single one of them are. And it is directly because of the massive amounts of drugs that are poured into this country. So spare me any of the sympathy you think I'm going to have for drug boats being exploded off of the coast outside of Venezuela. Blow them to smithereens. They're killing Americans. And they're not only are they killing Americans, they're killing young people. Lots of them. Lots of them. Every single year. I mean, in fact, in my town that I live in Springfield, Ohio, when fentanyl first hit the streets in Springfield, Ohio, there were so many people dead in this town that they had to bring in ice trucks because the morgue was full. Okay? That's how bad it was in the Midwest. So spare me whenever I hear these people saying we need sympathy for these people. Kill every single one of them. Kill all of them. Kill them all. Make sure none of them come back. Make sure every single person that ever even attempts to bring drugs to this country, that they live in fear that a drone may explode their entire home and everything in it in moments' notice. Let them live in that fear, because they deserve that, because they are killing so many Americans now that it's unfathomable, really. I mean, I don't know how many people I know of my age that have family members, close friends, or something along the lines where multiple of them have died of a drug overdose because of these drugs that they pour into the country. So it's not like it used to be. It's not like how it's not like, oh, well, whatever. It's just kids having fun. No, it's just like you accidentally took one pill that someone gave you at a party and you're dead. That's how this works now. Okay, so it's like it is completely out of control. So any sympathy that they think you're going to get out of me or anybody else on this side that knows what this is about, knows how bad the drug problem is, you're not going to get it. It's not there. You don't understand. And these obnoxious Democrats and these obnoxious people in Congress that live in this world that they know nothing about drives me insane. Drives me insane that you're going to sit here and say, oh, we need due process for these people off the coast of Venezuela that are bringing in fentanyl into the country. No, we don't. Kill them all. Kill every single one of them. They're terrorists, and they're killing lots of Americans every single year. Drives me insane when I hear this stuff.
Yeah, and I'm kind of part of a generation where I got touched by both car accidents. As a matter of fact, I lost somebody really, really close to me in high school. That was a tough one for a car accident. And then as I got older, and into my 20s and 30s, it was many drug overdoses, and I was in the Midwest, of course, and so it was starting to become incredibly common. And then obviously I live here in Arizona now, and we know what was coming across that southern border for a long time from cartels, and it was fentanyl and fake prescription pills that were stamped to look like prescription pills, but they were just fentanyl laced, and they were killing people in droves. I lost two friends to overdoses, and I know many others who I wouldn't consider friends, but I know of that died as well. And so I think it was precious when the media asks Marco Rubio, and especially Trump, but Marco in that clip, he says, well, I mean, stop sending boats and submersibles packed full of drugs coming here. That's how you can get those things to stop blowing up. It's fantastic because it's true. And that's it. And that's the way it should be. And that should be the policy. And I don't want to hear a damn thing about it. I just don't.
Yeah, I mean, I've already got people in the chat saying that, even the people that are older than me, they know 4 people. Like, yeah, I mean, it's not just my generation, but I mean, it's personally, I know, the people that I know that was like, it was directly related to my life. Like, I knew them personally. I lived with them. I knew them very, very well. This was normal. It is normal for the fact that there's many people of a young age that they just, they go to a party. They think they're doing something. They do one thing and then they drop dead. I mean, it is so common now that I have friends that they're sisters. It's crazy. And so spare me on this idea that we need to have some sort of sympathy for the drug cartels. No, we don't. Kill them all. Kill every single one of them. Blow them to smithereens. Every time I see one of those videos of the drug boat, just yeah, that's perfect. Beautiful. I love it. Keep me going. Keep me going. Those give me the fuel that I need to get through the day. I love watching those videos. I love that they declassify them. Like, it just, and the left is screaming, oh my God, what did you do to those fishermen? Oh, please. Shut up. I mean, just what are you talking about? Like, I mean, you're the same people that would literally drone the Middle East and no one will talk about it for years on end. And now just because we're hitting drug boats coming into the country, like, it actually kind of makes me question, why are you so concerned about it? Like, what is it about these drug boats that you're so upset about? I don't understand. I mean, I don't know. There's something wrong there. Like, there's some sort of insinuation that I guess I just don't understand. But anyway, so that's I love these clips though of Trump today. Just, yep, no, we're going to kill them. We're going to kill them all. They're going to be like dead. I love that. And so I think it was someone replied to that same one earlier, and it's just got we're going to kill them and they're going to be like dead. And they just took that like little 6-second soundbite. He said, I'm going to use this for so many things. Like, yes, I am too, actually. It's perfect. I love it.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree with you. Yeah, to your point, and I was actually going to bring this up, and I forgot to bring it up. The world was pretty silent when Rosa Brooks and Obama were droning everybody in the Middle East, including an American citizen, Anwar al-Awlaki. So, again, spare me. I don't want to hear about it at all, because none of you have said shit about that during then.
Exactly.
And so it's just not something I'm interested in.
Yeah, that's my point. It's like, they didn't say anything about it back then, so why would I care about it now? Like, I'm sorry, I don't care. Like, you guys have been droning the Middle East and bombing people in other countries for, we've been doing this for decades, and it's always been somewhere far away that doesn't have anything to do with American citizens at the time. But now that we're actually doing something that's going to have a positive effect on the country, you're upset about it? Please, just stop. Stop while you're ahead. No one cares. Okay, like, you're never going to get sympathy. Like, do you remember, I think this was a couple months ago. You guys remember this? The New York Times ran an article, and they sat down with Sinaloa cartel drug members, right? And they sit down with the Sinaloa cartel, and they're like, are you afraid? And they're like, yeah, I'm terrified. And I'm like, oh, God, no. Like, oh, please, shut the hell up. What? I mean, this is the most, it was like a half sympathy article from the New York Times on Sinaloa cartel members. They were like, yeah, I'm hiding. Like, it's just terrifying out here. Like, what are we reading? Like, when the New York Times, I know they're a joke. I mean, I know they're a former newspaper, but at the same time, like, what are you publishing that if you're going out there and talking to Sinaloa cartels members and getting them to be like, oh yeah, it's really scary now? Like, what? Like, you people kill families, whole families. Like, what do Shut up. No one cares. Just blow them to smithereens. I hope all of them get droned. I mean, even the concept of they're like, well, we can't hit them in Mexico because Mexico will get mad. What is Mexico going to do? We're afraid of the Mexican military? Oh, yeah, we're terrified of them. Shut up. Okay? Like, if we're going to hit the cartels, we're going to hit them, and there's nothing you're going to do to stop it. And you're just going to accept it because what are you going to do? Okay, what are you gonna? Are you gonna? Oh my God! Here comes the Mexican military. Like what? What military? You guys don't have a military, and don't you have like 6 boats? And didn't you crash one into our bridge? In fact, they did. That's right. I forgot. The only Mexican tall ship in existence wrecked our bridge. So you owe us, Mexico. I forgot all about that. So sorry. So Mexico, just so you're aware, just because you hit the Brooklyn Bridge, we're gonna drone, random cartel members in your country from here forward. Just putting that out there. That you shouldn't hit our bridge. Okay, it was a Mexican Navy vessel. Okay, that's a declaration of war. Unless you want us to go to war with you, we get to kill the cartel members, and you get to shut up about it. I think that's only fair.
And here's the thing. I've known about this, a lot of this stuff for years, and I know some people that report on it, and their lives are in jeopardy just by reporting on it, either across the Rio Grande or in Arizona or in Mexico themselves. And it's not pretty. Most of them get strung up on bridges for the world to see with signs around their neck that they've been slaughtered and tortured. And at the same time, fine, if your politicians are all going to be bought off by the cartels and you're going to allow this behavior to go on in Mexico, that's fine. But when Venezuela, Mexico, and other places are going to send drug boats, expect dronage. That's it. That's all. And I agree with Marco Rubio, and I definitely agree with Trump on this. There is no question. It's a silly question.
It is.
Heck, I think it's more of a silly question than even talking about the expansion on the White House. And yet that's a really stupid question. But here we are.
Listen, the throne room looks great, okay? I mean, I know that they're all upset about this, but guys, just accept it. The throne room's going to be gorgeous. I mean, wait till you see the size of the thrones. They're going to be beautiful. I mean, I don't know why everyone's all upset about this ballroom. Like, they just haven't figured it out yet. That's just the cover story. I mean, the ballroom's just the cover story. It will be a throne room, okay? So, wait until the coronation ceremony, guys. It's coming July 4th next year. Barron's getting coronated. So, just calm down, Democrats. You're going to be way more mad next year. And then after that, you won't be able to be mad anymore because you won't be allowed to be. That's how that works. So he becomes, when Barron is coronated as king and emperor forever of the United States, then you're not allowed to complain anymore. That's how that works. We just instantly, and it's only Democrats that are allowed to complain. Anybody on the right, even if you're annoying, you get to complain. But all Democrats, anybody slightly to the left of center, you're not allowed to complain anymore. Barron decreed that early on. That was on page 400 of Page Project 2025. I know it's a lengthy read, but it's in there.
Yeah, it's definitely in there, among other things that are in there that are absolutely based. And I want to remind people, just while we're paying attention to the East Wing, I want to remind people in the West, we're going to build a big, giant gold Trump Tower.
That's
and we're
right.
going to have a rotating restaurant on the top.
That's right.
And it's going to have all the crown jewels, all of the crowns and everything, and everyone will see it on display, and it'll be a delicious dining experience as well as a informative experience. And so just deal with it. I don't really know what to tell you. Funny enough, by the way, speaking about this No King stuff, and again, Stephen A is not really on my hot list, really. He's been kind of saying some stupid stuff, but it was pretty funny when he was talking about the No King stuff. He was like, okay, if you really believe that he was a king, would you be out protesting? It's like, obviously not, right? And it's just it's wild to me that they have no rudder. I had this clip saved yesterday, and do you remember? Well, do you remember in context of the Democrats spiraling? Do you remember this Jennifer Welch horseface clown? She was the one that coined the word triple Trumper, meaning we voted for Trump 3 times, and she thought she was clever, and how she was being incredibly hateful on JD Vance and his wife Usha, which she knows nothing about. Well, Victor Davis Hanson actually went on it. Do you want to? I think it's great.
Yeah, I'd
And
actually
of
liked
course
it
it
because
kind of-
Victor Davis Hanson's recent ones where he's talking to where he actually has his clapbacks or whatever they are. I mean, I don't know when he started doing those, but I really like them. They're very funny because he doesn't change his tone of voice at all. Victor Davis Hanson has a very, very monotone, very standard voice that he keeps for everything that he says, but he just obliterates people with it now. And I think it's great. I don't know who told him to do that and start doing that, but it's very funny. It is very, very funny.
I don't know if it was the folks at Daily Signal. I have no idea, but I'm here for it. That's the VDH that I'm here for. But I just sent you the clip. So I want to kind of set the table here a little bit so people know. I don't want to play the clip because I don't want to hear from Jen Psaki, and I don't want to hear from Jennifer Welch, this lunatic on the left. I don't want to hear from them at all. But I wouldn't mind VDH opining on their rhetoric. Did you see that clip that I'm talking about?
Yeah,
That
I
horse-faced
just,
woman.
oh, yes, I know what you're talking about. Yes, I know Jennifer
Yeah.
Welch, and she's also the woman that the other day. Remember, there was the clip. I don't know if we played it on the show or not. We might not have gotten to it. It was the one where she was saying that something broke in white people's brains. Something broke in their brains when Obama got elected to president, which is very interesting. Because she said that and she wasn't specific. Does she realize he was elected twice? So which one was it that in white people's brains broken? Was it the first election or was it the second election? Just out of curiosity, does anyone know? I mean, she said it, so I'm just curious. I'm just curious. I'm just asking questions. I just want to know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Well, anyway,
she doesn't have an answer because she doesn't do anything. She just says Democrat talking points. But again, I was listening to Megyn Kelly on the way home, and she brought up this same clip. Not this one. She brought up the Jennifer Welch one that VDH was responding to yesterday that I saved. Was that this woman's out there and she's with all these talking points and it's making them completely unbearable. Like anybody out there, voters, even Democrats were like, yeah, probably leave the wife alone. I don't know what she's doing here, but it ain't going to turn out pretty for them. So I guess she just needs to keep talking. But this is a takedown. You got to hear this.
Yeah, let's go ahead and play this. It's only about a minute.
They thought when he was selected as vice president, he brought nothing to the ticket because Ohio was going to be won. He was a white male. There was no diversity. But they didn't really appreciate that he's one of the best explicators of the MAGA agenda. In repartee, back and forth, he eviscerated the media every time he got on television. He was a real force multiplier of the Trump ticket, and they're afraid of him. And now they're thinking, we were betting on MAGA is inseparable from Trump. He was the sun, and without him, there'll be no sunlight. And then people like Rubio and J.D. Vance come along and they think, oh my God, this thing could go on and on and on with this new populist Republican Party. And they're terrified of it, and so they feel that maybe she's too sophisticated for this Appalachian-born Vance or whatever. But they're terrified that the MAGA will go beyond Donald Trump, and I think they should be terrified because I think it will.
Yes, love it. I love that, and that is true. I didn't even think about that. That's probably what they're doing. That's why they don't like it. They're mad about Usha because Usha is supposed to be one of them, and she's not. Why isn't she one of them? She's supposed to be on our side, and she likes this Appalachian white guy. Oh, my goodness. These people are so insufferable. I can not stand these people. They're so annoying. Just the whole idea that for some reason, remember who was it the other day? I think it was Sunny Hostin when she was sitting there talking about Vance. She said, well, Vance only got into Yale because of affirmative action. And she tried to argue with a straight face that white Appalachian men were getting affirmative action to get into Yale. I'm not kidding. That's what she claimed. She was trying to argue that, yes, affirmative action was being used. That's how he got into Yale. I was like, oh, my goodness, these people. They have no concept of what's going on in the world. They're so out of touch. It is just unbelievable. By the way, I have something very funny that I need to put up on the screen here. Apparently, President Trump is adding. He has made an announcement on the wing of the White House. Now, I've been saying it was a throne room, but there's new information that's coming out now that apparently. I'm just going to have to put this up on the screen here. Apparently, it's actually not a throne room, but he's calling it the Elizabeth Warren wing. And I'll show you why in just a second here as soon as I get this link copied, because I didn't think about that. That's a beautiful addition to the White House. I think that's a good way to. It just fits. You need to make sure that you've got the Elizabeth Warren wing. So here it is. So here's the Elizabeth Warren wing being added to the White House. And, it's not bad. I think it looks pretty good. I mean, it fits right in with all of the architecture. Perfect TP right there on the East Wing. They're not even going to fix anything. They're just going to leave it all dilapidated around that. Not bad. I think that looks good. I think that's a good addition. So the Elizabeth Warren wing of the White House is going to be passed on there. So that is a new addition. And I find that absolutely amazing. Very funny. Very funny. That's on Gunther's profile right now, guys. By the way, if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's up on the screen. If you're just listening, it is just a TP dropped over top of the wreckage of where they're demolishing the part of the East Wing of the White House. It is just a fantastic picture. Very funny.
I sent you a clip, Walt, Don Jr. was on this morning, I guess, talking about this, and I think we should remind the audience with this clip about what Hillary Clinton had to do when she's out here being all loud about the White House. And I'm like, lady, you stole silverware and furniture and had to return it. And then
Yes.
Don Jr. was talking about this morning. You got to play this clip.
Yeah, this is true, by the way. I think she stole something like $28,000 worth of furniture, and she had to return it, if I'm not mistaken. If I think that was the correct number. It's been a long time since I looked at that, but I mean, let's go ahead and play this because I'm sure it's funny.
Speaking out about it is absolutely insane. I think the greatest irony that I saw in all of this was Hillary Clinton talking about it being the people's house. Hillary Clinton, who with her husband literally had to return furniture and silverware that they stole from the White House. That was actually the property of the people. They took it with them after their term. They had to return it because people caught them stealing the furniture. You know, she's the one that's leading the charge complaining about this thing. It's absolutely nuts. This is for the betterment of the property. It costs the American taxpayer nothing, and it's going to add value, not just to my father's presidency, but to every president after him, because it's going to take some time to build. The reality is every president after him will get much more use and much more benefit from this incredible addition to the White House. The Democrats.
Yes. Love it. But I mean, just talking about the Clintons as if I do love the fake outrage, like the faux outrage we're getting, where they're like, oh my God, the sacred grounds of the White House. Like, you morons had, topless trannies dancing around on the White House lawn during Joe Biden's term. Okay. Like, please, the sanctimony is just too much for me. I cannot deal with it. Just, oh my God, the sacred grounds of the White House. Just shut up. I don't know if I can roll my eyes hard enough for you people. Like, I mean, it's so annoying listening to these people act as if they have any true reservation about what happens to the country in the sake. Like, you guys have been tearing all of our artifacts and statues down for years. Your activists tried to destroy priceless pieces of art. You do not care about any of the founding fathers of this country. Why would you care about the White House? You don't care about the White House. Like, that doesn't mean anything to you. Like, it's the faux outrage from the people that hate this country means absolutely nothing to me. Like, I mean, it's so funny to listen to them scream and rant and rave about that. I mean, I was listening to something earlier, and I went back and I wanted to see. Remember, Obama actually had done a renovation to the White House. And I was going back to see what their coverage of that was, and they were making him out to be the savior of the whole White House. He was saving the building. He was the builder, the necessary man that had to be there to fix this White House because it was going to fall without him. And he was oh my God. They were just essentially giving him a back massage as they were publishing it. And of course, that was all paid with taxpayer dollars. All of that was. It was like $328 million worth of renovations and taxpayer dollars, and he was the savior of the White House. Trump's adding a room on that he's paying for by himself with him and his friends, and they're like, oh my God, he's destroying history. Oh, shut up. Just shut up.
Well, we have a listener. We have a listener that has also proposed some design plans. I sent it to your, it's down in the chat, but I sent it to your DM as well so you can view its glory. But before I get into my post that I made earlier today, because I kind of want to talk about that, I've been yelling about it since 2020, about what happened at the end of May in 2020 and what the Democrats and the far left tried to do to the White House. But there's a renovation suggestion there, if you want to put it up on the screen.
Oh my God, I love it. That is absolutely glorious. That's the only thing you add. Okay, that's it. Okay, so anybody who's just listening, we're adding a McDonald's.
Just a McDonald's.
Just a McDonald's. Perfect. I love it. Okay, like, I mean, the only thing it needs a 70-foot sign, like the Golden Arches. We need the 60, 70-foot, the ones that you see from the highway. That way you know where the McDonald's is. You got to have that too. And you just put that right on top of the White House. So you leave the McDonald's as is, and then you put the arches and the sign for it coming out of like right over top of the columns. So that way every photo you get has the arches in it. That's perfect. I love it. I think it's a great addition. That's the best thing you've come up with so far. Anybody's come up with so far. Thank you, whoever came up with that. That's brilliant. I can't imagine why anyone would complain about a McDonald's being added to the White House. Trump would like it. He gets Diet Coke all day.
And that button, the famous red button.
Yes.
But I put up in the nest, Walt. I took some photos from May 29th of 2020 when a bunch of Antifa, far left, and BLM activists, horizontally aligned affinity groups, shut down DCers, all those people who basically raided the White House, the gates outside, tried to burn the church down. Over 50 Secret Service agents were injured in trying to protect the White House grounds. So really, I'm not interested in anything, in any faux outrage from the left and from Democrats, and one of the same, about anything to do with protecting the sanctimony and the opulence of the White House and what Trump is doing to destroy it. Do you know that they have entire websites set up, Walt, now where they're parading around as if there's some kind of like news site? And if you look at the top of the crosstabs, there are links at the top of the site. It says things like tariff tracker and Trump this and blah blah blah, and they're using it as some kind of source to come back. Yeah, I was going after this fat TikToker today. I can't stand her. She just yells into her camera about, I don't, whatever. You can see Shill's talking point that they're trying to get out there, and they're angry and they're using all the cuss words and all the things. And then when they try to source fact check you that something is happening that they're saying, they're using these fake websites, and they're not giving them to you. But I just want to remind people, and there may be some of you out here that didn't know this happened. It's possible. There may be some people that just don't know. But on May 29th in 2020, over 50 Secret Service agents were injured. They tried to raid the White House grounds. Remember where they were saying that because of security protocol, they had to take Trump down to the basement essentially, and they were calling him a coward for doing it? Well, there's your images, and that is a national security protocol for the President of the United States. I just spare me on this. I don't want to hear it. They're worried about a driveway and some office building. Like, it's really that retarded.
Yeah, I mean, it literally is offices over on that side. The East Wing was built mostly by FDR. So I was telling people I was really happy about it because despite what the left believes, FDR was a socialist, and I despise him. And he extended the Great Depression by 11 years almost. I think Milton Friedman said between 8 and 12 years is how much FDR extended the Great Depression in this country. Essentially, World War II is the only thing that brought us out of it. They prop him up as some sort of hero in American culture, and he's not. Okay, like he was the only president that ever served 4 terms. They used to call him King Frank. So like, please, I forgot all about that. I was thinking about that the other day where they're talking about the No King stuff, and it's like literally like their hero. They used to actually his nickname during the Great Depression was King Frank. So like, I mean,
right, he literally acted like a king.
Yes,
right.
exactly.
By the way, look at how many terms he had. By the way,
yes,
and actually, Walt, I want to add to this because we brought up Project 2025 earlier. I think a lot of people need to understand what the academic white paper of Project 2025 actually was. It was 970 plus pages. You guys, if you follow me for any length of time, I've read the entire thing. Politically Savvy and myself had several spaces on it. I had Paul Dance, who's running in South Carolina to unseat Lindsey Graham. I had him in the space, and after that BET Awards, where the Democrats attached every attack they were going to try to use against Trump and Republicans in 2024 to Project 2025. I want to remind people of why Project 2025 was written to begin with. And I want to remind people how the Civil Services Reform Act of 1979 that was passed by our Congress established the Office of Personnel Management, OPM, which was designed to keep in check the overextended and overinflated federal government that FDR was specifically responsible for in doing.
That's right.
And so if you want to talk about a king, and you want to talk about a king, and you want to talk about all these things, and we make the jokes about Project 2025, and I think cutting grass too short, it was also something that's going to be banned by Project 2025. But in seriousness, the whole point of the Civil Services Reform Act of 1979 was to put a check, and it was passed by Congress to put a check on the federal workers and the ever expanding ridiculous size of federal government. And that started with FDR. He was the one that did it. He spun up all these agencies. He spun up all these new government. And he had tapped a bunch of English and European monarchy experts and professors from Europe to basically try to model what they did in their respective governments under a monarchy rule. And that's the other reason that he got that nickname for, King Frank, was because he was heavily trying to influence the size and the scope and the way that federal government operated based on those professors and students of study on monarchies throughout Europe. he absolutely 1000% actually tried to create the federal government into being a monarchy. That's what he actually did. And he was using socialism to do it. And if anybody disagrees with me, you're more than welcome to go look at what the crown has been doing over the period of time since then, and trying to bring their power back. And I would argue with you, and I'll debate with you on this, and I will prove to you that that's exactly what they want. And communism is really just another vehicle that they can use. And I can tell you, FDR absolutely took that to heart. And all of a sudden, he was the one, after his, four terms and whatever he had, that he was the one that was this great, he was the great force for the working class. And all he really was a massive expansionist in government. And he was trying to be a monarch. Terrible, terrible president. One of our worst.
Yes, very much so. But of course, to the left, he's some sort of national hero that saved everybody, and the New Deal was great. Well, no, it wasn't. Okay, the New Deal is what got us in this scenario in the first place. It's what started the spiraling, growing, ever persistent, giant federal government that we have today. So yeah, spare me on that. I don't care at all. I'm not a huge fan. Never was. Don't particularly care about it at all. But of course, the left likes to pretend like he was some amazing hero. But anyway. So the deal is that listening to them scream about the throne room that is being built is very entertaining. But hail to the king, shut up. That's how that's going to work. So I don't think it matters to me. The throne room is going to look great. I can't wait to see what the coronation ceremony is. I think it's going to be beautiful. I'm sure it's going to be just nothing but tears flowing from all of the mainstream media just for days and weeks and months leading up to the coronation ceremony. So I can't wait. It's going to be great.
That's right. Crown him. Let's go. Trump 2028, Trump 2032, Trump 2036. Let's go.
That's right. Trump forever. Forever. Forever Trump. Forever. But anyway, so, Trump was actually on fire today, dude. These clips of him in this meeting that he had, this just announcement that he had today was fantastic. This was him talking about Schiff, which was great. Schiff is another one of our favorites on the show, obviously, because we had Christine Bish in here, which was she is the woman that got all of the information about the mortgage fraud stuff, and she sent me all of those documents, and I published those. These were Schiff is obviously in hot water. So this is a question from a reporter about Schiff, and typical of Trump, he does not disappoint with his answer.
Speaking of Democrats, there's a report that there's a grand jury on Adam Schiff for apparent mortgage fraud. If he is indicted, should he step down as a U.S. Senator?
Well, I'm not going to comment on that. I would just say Adam Schiff is one of the lowest forms of scum I've ever dealt with in politics. He's a horrible human being, very dishonest person. I have no idea what's going on. You tell me that he's going to be indicted. I don't know. You could ask Pam. I don't know if she could say it. Probably you are allowed to say it, but I wouldn't know about that. I can only tell you he's a very bad. I think he's actually a sick person. Do you want to talk about that?
We're not going to comment on any grand jury that's open. We can't legally.
That's actually one of my favorite answers out of her that she's been giving, and I'm here for it.
Pam Bondi is not great with PR. Earlier, she said something about we have uncocked our ICE officials have been uncocked, and I was like, what? That's not a phrase. I don't know what that means. But, anyway, so, whatever, Pam, just you're fine. You're doing a good job. We swear. But
I mean, she also can't actually say anything.
Yeah, I know she specifically on that. She can't say anything, but just in general, you're doing fine.
It's slowly becoming one of my favorite things out of her, because she literally, I know this, but they're trying so hard. The media keeps trying it. She just basically says, don't make me tap the sign. So it's kind of funny to me. I gotta admit, I enjoy it.
Yeah, it is very entertaining, but of course, I just like Trump there the entire way through that. He is one of the lowest forms of scum that exists. It's fantastic stuff. I'm a huge fan. Just keep these people don't deserve any respect whatsoever. So I don't even pretend to give it to them. So I think it's a good thing whenever he just berates them constantly. I think that's the best way you can deal with these people. But back on go ahead.
It's not losing him any political points.
That's right.
To be clear at all.
Yeah, he's not losing anything politically from any of this. Now, to be clear, though, so to go back on what we were talking about before, the cartel stuff. So there's also another bit in this. This is from Tulsi in the midst of this. So this meeting today was excellent, and there was a lot of different things that they talked about in this. But the left that's screaming more about these cartels, that this will not give this up. Oh my God, these cartels need all of the due process, all of the everything. Well, today Tulsi announced that there's a new National Intelligence Fusion Cell, whatever the hell that is, at the ODNI that's capable of helping Mexican law enforcement. And they actually caught some, just listen to this.
Mr. President, under your leadership, for the first time, there is a newly created National Intelligence Fusion Cell at the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, National Counterterrorism, that has a very simple purpose: to make sure that we have two-way intelligence sharing of actionable information between the intelligence community and law enforcement. I'll say the last example I'll share is probably the most insidious, was providing intelligence to the Mexican law enforcement that led to the arrest of a CJNG cartel-affiliated baby trafficker called La Diabla. Her whole money-making operation was centered around luring pregnant women, performing illegal C-sections, harvesting organs, and selling newborn babies. Mr. President, it's your leadership that has made all of this possible.
So that is the kinds of people that we're going after in these cartels. Okay, so let the left please come on out, try and defend that. I'd love to hear you do it. I'm sure they will, but does anything like these are disgusting.
But that's the comment I wanted to make. And by the way, we're dealing with technical difficulties. The space cuts out every 30 seconds, guys. I'm well aware. There's nothing we can do. We also get heavily suppressed. But I believe the live stream and the do come through clear. It's just spaces. It's just terrible. So I didn't hear her say, did she say fusion center or fusion cell?
She said fusion cell. Yeah, and it must be the space, dude, because
Cell,
it
okay.
sounds fine to me on my end. So I think it must be just you.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's definitely probably me. I mean, I'm heavily attacked on this app. But I wanted to say this. It seems to me that for the first time, they're moving just from like these fusion centers and like these JTTFs, which are, Joint Terrorism Task Force type app. Joe Kent, working on a lot of the counterterrorism stuff in our country. So that's a new one, and that's fine that the ODNI is directly involved with it, because obviously she has her hands on all the intelligence, not just some of it. She has one of the top security clearances in the country. And so if they're working with them that way, it probably did bring it back. It's funny to me, they released the Epstein file Democrat, fake Republicans, and fake MAGA. By the way, all of you guys, get the hell away from me. We want nothing to do with you. You guys are fake, lying grifters. Goodbye. With that being said, I'm sure they're coming out here saying anything about La Diabla, right? Nothing. And yet that's a serious takedown that had serious ramifications. And just hear what she said. I mean, maybe we need to get dark stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it is incredibly dark stuff. It is incredibly dark stuff. Apparently, some other people were saying that other spaces were having issues as well earlier. Yeah, we're aware, guys. I mean, the unfortunate part is we try to keep the spaces open because that's where a lot of our original audience when we first started the show grew with us just there on X Spaces. So we try to keep this show on there. But at some point in the near future, when we start growing the show out more, we're probably going to end up just doing more of the live stream, and we'll have to communicate with people in chat like everybody else does. So it's just an unfortunate part of how broken X is most of the time. But anyway, we'll move on here. Yes, it seems to me that the cartel members, and I just love what Trump said about them earlier, is that they're just going to be dead. We're going to kill them, and I think that's the correct response. I have no problem with that. Just kill them. I think it's great.
Yep, that's it. I mean, that's the tweet, as we used to say. That's it. That's the tweet. And it is what it is. And that is all. And I don't want to hear anything. There is nothing compelling. There's no argument you can make otherwise. And I just don't want to hear it. I don't care. But in that vein, and this is why I'm talking about Dems spiraling, and we'll get to Virginia in a bit, but this Hakeem Jeffries, El Jefe, he has switched gears as well. He's no longer talking about the shutdown because it's Schumer's siesta. It must not be very popular for them. Did you see this clip earlier?
No, I did not.
Him? Oh my! I got to send it to you. In that thread as well is also a great meme by Rican Memes. I just want to remind people that he is still El Jefe, and why he is El Jefe. There were some people that came to my post that didn't know that he is El Jefe, part of the Schumer siesta. But now look at him. He's switching. They're pivoting because they're on the losing side of this, and more time goes, the more that their demographic and their base is going to be affected by a government shutdown. And now he's not talking about it. I just sent it to you in the DM. Now he's shifted gears, going back to the White House. This is really funny.
Yeah, I've got it here. So let's see what he says here.
Any executive authority. And more likely, this is part of what Donald Trump has been doing since day one of his presidency, running the largest pay-to-play scheme in the history of the country, and probably soliciting donations from people who've got business before the United States government. And all of this is going to have to be investigated. It will. All of this will have to be uncovered. It will. And these people are going to be held accountable no matter how long it takes. That's going to be the reality of the situation. And that's our warning to all of these people participating in this scheming to manipulate taxpayer dollars and, of course, to destroy the people's house. The White House belongs to the American people. It doesn't belong to Donald Trump.
Final question.
Any executive authority.
So there was Hakeem Jeffries talking about this, and obviously they're going back on it. You know, Trump is. I love this new line that they've come up here with. This is a more recent, Democrat talking point that Trump is running a pay-for-play scheme. And this is because of the Justice Department. There was some report that it's possible that Trump might get paid like $250 million or something by the Justice Department or something like that. By the way, I love that they just announced that. And then the other day, Trump obviously hadn't even heard about where that case stood. And he had filed that before. He had even taken office, by the way, guys. But at some point in the midst of that, there's a reporter that brings it up to him and he starts talking about it. And he's like, oh, I guess they do owe me a lot of money. They do owe me a lot of money, don't they? But, I'm not interested in the money. I don't care about the money. He said, if I do get some form of money, I'll donate it to charity or do something nice for the country with it. So I hope that they attack him for it, and that if he gets it, then he just immediately donates it to I don't know, cancer research or something. Like they just something specifically good that they can't be upset about. Like that would be pretty funny.
No, I think it would be hilarious. And actually, yeah, $230 million for the weaponized government lawfare that he had to spend defending himself when it was all BS and bogus, and we all know it. And so whether he gets paid that or not is interesting. But I think the most interesting thing to me is forget the hypocrisy. There's no such thing as hypocrisy. There's no truth but power when it comes to Democrats and the left, right? We know that. It really doesn't matter whether you call them hypocrites or not. But I do find it interesting that he's using words like public funds and American taxpayer dollars and America's house and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, that was actually crowdsourced by donors, which is what you're alluding to by this pay-for-play scheme. And then he's going to come out and saying, we're going to do massive scale investigations, and we don't care how long it's going to take, using actual taxpayer dollars to do that, which is just another witch hunt. But he's saying that we're going to, while the government's shut down and the senators on the Democrat side are not willing to budge or pass a clean CR. I just find it, it's hilarious by El Jefe, of course. He needs to put his sombrero back on, and he's a little bit more tolerable then. But he's saying specifically, one thing that's not costing the taxpayers a dime, which we know, is the White House, renovation, if you want to call it that. But I'm going to use taxpayer dollars, no matter how long it takes, no matter how much money it takes, to get to the bottom of this fake, ridiculous pay-for-play scheme using taxpayer dollars while the government's shut down. It's just rich. I'm not going to say hypocrisy, but it is really something to point out, and it's really spectacular. And then you're going to have a bunch of, people going out here, and they're going to be talking about how their health care that they retired early is going to cost them so much money while they're not selling their 2 or 3 other houses, and we're supposed to feel sorry for them because the government shut down. No, you're tone deaf and ridiculous, and we're not going to pay attention to it anymore. But I did find that interesting about that clip.
Yep. Yeah, well, speaking of, we can move into a new segment here because I do want to talk about this FBI stuff. This stuff is super important today. So before we do that, guys, make sure you guys share this space out. This is the Political Theater. This is Walter Curtin Trash Discourse. If you guys are listening to us on Spotify, Rumble, YouTube, Substack, wherever you guys may be listening to the show, thank you guys for showing up this evening. We've got a lot more content to get through this evening. We've got a bunch of big stories that I don't even know if we're going to have time to get through everything today. So we need to get into this FBI story. But before we do that, if you guys want to support this show, make sure you guys subscribe to us wherever you guys are listening. If you guys are listening on X, the best way to support this show is you can actually go directly to our profiles, and it's at WC Dispatch and at Trash Discourse, and we have subscription options available directly on our profiles. That's the best way you can support the show and you support us directly. You can also subscribe on WCDispatch.com. That is my Substack. That has all of my investigative content, including the entire Fairfax series, the entire Abigail Spanberger series, talking about the defamation lawsuit she's included in. There's lots of different content on there, guys. So make sure you guys subscribe to that. That is the best way you can support this show, support me, support Trash, support the Political Theater. This is just the two of us that run this show. Now, we are actually sponsored now. That's a new thing that just happened this week. The Wellness Company now sponsors this show. So make sure you guys go check out the Wellness Company. They've got ivermectin, they've got hydroxychloroquine, they've got emergency kits, they've got, they even have mRNA-free beef boxes that they sell. So make sure you guys check them out. And that's at twc.health/TPT. Use code TPT at checkout for 10% off your entire order. Okay, so let's move into this FBI story because the NBA story, I'm sorry. This story is crazy. Okay, like the clip from it just initially, I was like, wait a minute here. The 5 families of New York are involved. They're arresting NBA members. LeBron James might be involved. This is like a wild story. So this whole thing is crazy. We need to discuss this, and I think the only way we do that is we have to set it up with a clip first. So I know you put that clip out earlier, so let me go to your profile real quick. And I will pull that up because that was just like I watched that earlier. I was like, what is happening? Like, what? Who is involved? How many people have they arrested already? I mean, this is a wild story. So let me go ahead and play this here. So this is earlier today. Fox News put this out, and this is a breaking news conference with Kash Patel. Let me see, make sure I'm sharing the right tab. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so here is Kash Patel describing this. This is only about 40 seconds.
Individuals such as Chauncey Billups, Damon Jones, and Terry Rozier were taken into custody today. Former, current NBA players and coaches. What you don't know is that this is an illegal gambling operation and sports rigging operation that spanned the course of years. The FBI led a coordinated takedown across 11 states to arrest over 30 individuals today responsible for this case, which is very much ongoing. Not only did we crack into the fraud that these perpetrators committed on the grand stage of the NBA, but we also entered and executed a system of justice against La Casa Nostra to include the Bonanno, Gambino, Genovese, and Lucchese crime families.
So there's the clip there. And this whole story is wild. I mean, it's just crazy. You've got the 5 families of New York are involved. You're arresting current NBA members and coaches. Someone posted something earlier about LeBron being linked to this. I haven't seen that. Like, I haven't actually looked into the proof of this. I saw the story earlier today. I was like, well, that's wild. That's going to get real interesting real quick. But I do find it entertaining that, the NBA, apparently they've been doing this for a very long time. It's not something new. This is a long-running scheme that's been running across this. So I wonder, is this happening on more than just the NBA? The sports betting rings, like all of these massive sports betting companies have popped up over the past couple of years, and they've legalized sports betting in like every state now. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to that. I'm not a gambler. I never have been. But I did check some of those apps out at some point, and they make it very easy for you to gamble on pretty much anything. How many passes are thrown, how many touchdowns are getting. It's crazy. So there's all sorts of gambling things out here. But now, I mean, with this involved in it, I wonder if some of that stuff is going to get tamped down on because, man, if this is as far-reaching as it appears to be, the NBA itself looks to me like they've essentially proven that it was rigged, not just that it was sort of rigged.
Sorry about that. I was getting the New York Post reporting on LeBron because I had to find a source, and I did, and it didn't take me very long. And so for the providence of the space, for people listening, both listeners and people watching it visually, I did put the article from the New York Post about LeBron down in the chat. Let me read it for people. So this came out today from Ben Cockman and Joe Marino. LeBron James dragged into NBA gambling scandal after friend sold injury details. per the feds. Details of LeBron James's these ads, God, man, guys. Okay, Legacy Digital, fix your ads, man. Details of LeBron James's injury status were sold by his pal and former Los Angeles Lakers coach Damon Jones as part of a massive prop betting scheme, according to court docs and law enforcement sources. Jones, an ex-Cleveland Cavs player and quote unofficial assistant coach for the Lakers during the 2022-2023 season, sent a message to one of the betting ring members on February 9th of 2023 urging him to place a large bet on the Lakers' opponent, the Milwaukee Bucks, because James would be out with an injury that night, meaning that that was not announced yet, right? So that was the advantage. Quote, get a big bet on Milwaukee tonight before the information is out. Oh, there it is. Jones texted, according to the indictment. The player, whom sources identified as James, did not play after reporting a lower body injury, and the Lakers lost. Oh my God.
Oh
Jones is
man.
Jones is a longtime friend of James who played with him on the Cavs earlier in James's career. Jones also separately received $2,500 for hawking a supposed injury tip, which turned out to be bogus about another Lakers star player before January 15th, 2024 game against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Court papers say that Jones claimed to have learned from the Lakers trainer that, quote, one of the Lakers' best players during the 23-24 season was injured and was only going to play a limited amount of minutes that night. Jones told co-defendant Eric Spook Ernest, who shared the tip with Marvis Fairley, who touted himself online as a successful sports bettor who used to use the moniker Venzino Locks, and then included is the actual court documents. You guys can go look for yourself. It's in that article. So I posted it down in the chat. This is not like something new. It was just crazy to see, like out of nowhere, that the FBI actually took this thing down. But when I posted about this today, there was a lot of people in the comments saying, "Yeah, okay, now do MLB and NFL." And I'm like, "Yeah, probably." I mean, this seems to be like a very cut and dry thing. It's not new. I mean, we saw this with college basketball. Hell, you can go back to the original. Remember the Black Sox and like that whole scandal in baseball back then. Like, it's not unrealistic, and it's not like it hasn't been done. But I just didn't expect in 2025 to be Cash Patel's FBI being taken down this ring that it's included with like the Lucchese's and the Gambinos and all the five crime families of New York.
Do you
That's
see
exactly
all of the, like, I'm looking through the indictment here, and do you see like the list of people against? It's like literally, it's just like look at some of the names of these people. It's also known as Flapper Poker and Flappy. Matthew Dandino, also known as Matty and the Wrestler. Eric Ernest, also known as Spook. Thomas Gallardo, also known as Juice. Tony Godson, known as Black Tony. Just, I mean, this is the most. This is obviously like all mob. Like this entire indictment is mob owned. Like, I mean, look at this. Like the Osman Hadi, known as Albanian Bruce. Like, I mean, what is this, dude? Like, this is the most like mobbed up thing I've ever seen. Like Josh Mazzola, known as John South. I mean, look at all these people. Look at all these people. I love it, man. This is absurd. Here we go. Sophie Well, also known as Pookie. Like, like what the? Oh my goodness, man. This is insane. What a crazy story. So look at that, though. The amount of money. Apparently, Fairley placed a $100,000 bet against the Lakers. However, the star player played in the game afterwards, and all the Lakers won. So he lost that bet, apparently. So that's pretty interesting. So, and that was based on a bad tip, right? So that's what that said up here. Yeah, he said he gave him a bad tip, and someone placed $100,000 on a bad tip. That's pretty funny, though. I mean, but this is what a ridiculous case. I mean, this is amazing to me that this all came out today. I was like, what? Oh, you sent that clip out earlier, and I was like, what on earth is this? Like, that is, I guarantee you that it's across more than just one ring, too. Like, I'm sure it's across, that's probably in the NBA, I mean, NFL. I would not be surprised if it's in the NFL. That would not shock me even in the slightest.
Right. And who's going to sing? Who's going to, I just, sometimes there's like, I don't know, there's stories like this, and you're just like, okay, that's great. Like, I just wasn't expecting it, and I didn't expect Cash Patel to come out and announce it either. I think that's what makes it so funny for me, because like the director of the FBI is coming out, and listen, this is serious, right? It's organized crime. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry, not only gambling, but also like the NBA and professional sports as a whole. And like we all knew that a lot of this, I mean, there's always stories that come out. It just wasn't something that was on my bingo card for the week. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, this is a crazy story. I just love that when he starts listing all the five family peoples. I was like, what? Like, what is happening? Like, what do you mean? This is the NBA is working with the five families of New York to it's like run a giant betting ring, and then they're arresting coaches. Like, okay, then. Oh, and apparently
Yeah,
Abigail.
it's crazy. Yeah.
By the way, I just want to laugh at this real quick. Apparently, Abigail Spanberger has taken notice of all the girls that are wandering around in Loudoun County, having people sign petitions to not vote for people to like allow men in their sports, like that they really don't want that to happen. So now she's got photos with young teenage girls all on her Twitter page today. What a shock!
Oh, I actually sent you a clip that I haven't listened to yet. It's from Greg Price. I just was holding. I sent it to you, but we're holding off on. We're holding off until we get to Virginia. But I haven't listened to this clip. But I'm looking at what he put out about 5 hours ago. It
Oh
doesn't
yeah.
look good.
Oh yeah, no, this is what we need. We need to get into Virginia here in just a short bit. So, yes, there is a lot to talk about in Virginia today. So we'll move to that in just a little bit here. But the question I have, I guess, is about this entire FBI scheme is that who else is going to be arrested? Like, I mean, like if this is as far reaching as I think it is, it's probably going to be a lot more people involved. Real quick on some more national politics stuff. I don't know if you guys saw. There were some amazing photos today that came out from Time. They redeemed themselves after their weird photo that they did last time. I don't know if you guys saw that. But there were some great photos that came out from Time Magazine on a new article for the White House. And there were some really cool photos of the White House where you actually see it without all the TV lighting. I'd never actually seen the inside of the Oval Office without the TV lighting. So it's kind of cool looking. I don't know if you guys have seen these images yet. I'll put some of these up on the screen so you can see these. These are cool. I mean, it's a pretty interesting way that they did it. And the Time Magazine photos of Trump, I think they definitely redeemed themselves. And they probably wanted to redeem themselves after that, that horrible photo they did of like him, like looking up at him. And it was like, what a weird angle that they put him at. And you couldn't see his hair. It was very strange. But they did do some really good photos of that from Time today. So I just thought those were worth bringing up. But the entire White House meeting today was fantastic. So lots of big national news today, obviously. But let's move now. I think here we go. That's what I was looking for. This is what the actual cover was. So this is the newest one that they did, and it's Trump's World, which I'm sure, just by I wonder how many of their staff quit when they put this cover out. I assume there's entire wings of the Time Magazine staffer group that have absolutely immediately left the building the moment they published this. Just having this on the cover probably melted almost all of them down. So I thought that was pretty damn funny.
Yeah, they probably put on yellow T-shirts and danced in the streets, and they were probably singing along to the No King song or whatever it may be, and they were out there in solidarity with all their compatriots. And I think this is actually, to be honest with you, I can make jokes all day and dunk on all the dancing boomers and the sidewalk obstructionists, if you will, the ones that laid down on the rainbow sidewalk so they wouldn't take it up and pave over it. And what happened at the Washington Post and how that union attempt that they tried to do absolutely failed. And the nurse walkout in New York, that failed. These people are just legends in their own minds, and they're lunatics. And I think, with Time kind of moving this direction and trying to actually be favorable a little bit, and we have seen this movement. I mean, CBS was supposed to, they were required by court to do it. But most of them are kind of moving, they're at least making attempts. They're like, okay, we're going to try this again. We want to try to get some audience or some readership or some viewers. We want to try it again. We think that we can move to a moderate down the middle position and we can get away from these lunatic lefties. The only people that have even kept the lights on at their dismal numbers and readership. I think it's another attempt to move that direction, man. I really do. And I think that although I'm never going to forgive them for all the lies and all the propaganda and everything that they've done to destroy this country, and they have, and they are directly responsible for much of the political violence in this country. If they're going to move, I do at least want to acknowledge it. And this is why I believe that you and I bring this up on the show. I'll speak for myself, that I do still want a legacy media, because no matter how hard we try, there's a lot of people out there that still rely on legacy media. And if we can somehow encourage better behavior in the legacy media and start shifting that opinion, we can probably bring the temperature down quite a bit in this country. And then the politicians will follow, as you know. So I think that's how we bring down the temperature here. But yeah, so if Time's doing it, kudos to them. Can you put that up in the nest so people here just in the space can see it? Because I haven't seen it.
Yeah,
I didn't see it.
absolutely. I'll put it up there in the top. I'll have to send it to myself, so I'll do that. So, but we do. I think it is time we move over to Virginia. Normally, we take about a 5-minute break in the middle of the show, but I'm kind of just we already did a few ad reads in the middle of this, so I think I'm just going to edit it in for the actual show, so we can keep rolling here. So
Yeah,
I'll
I think
edit.
so.
I'll edit that in. So instead of just doing that, so guys, make sure you guys subscribe to this show. Make sure you guys follow both myself and Trash. There's the new political theater account on the X Spaces, but make sure you guys follow us on our main accounts, which is at WC Dispatch and at Trash Discourse. Make sure you guys give us a review on Apple Podcast, and make sure you guys share this link out so that we are live and everyone knows that we are currently live on all of the different platforms. If you guys are listening on YouTube, Spotify, Substack, Rumble, wherever you are listening to us, thank you guys for showing up. So anyway, we have more to get through here, though. So the most important thing in Virginia. So Virginia has been very interesting, obviously, and we've been covering it. We've been the I would say, I don't know, the top people talking about Virginia during this race. This show has been, at least. I don't know if anybody's given it nearly as much coverage as we have. So we literally give it like an hour a night. But it's very important that we do so because we are winning. I definitely think we are winning. I mean, listen, the Democrats right now literally called a special session of the legislature to get Winsome Sears off the campaign trail. Okay? Like that's not, I'm not even joking. They did that today. They actually did that today, which is crazy. I mean, it's just nuts that I've never seen anything like that where they're like, oh, nope, we're going to have to do this, which, by the way, the lieutenant governor has to preside over the legislator. That's why they did it. So they're actually trying to force Winsome Sears off the campaign trail. Now, if you listen to them, they're up 20 billion points. They've never been so up, really. You listen to every poll that they publish, and every poll they put out is some ridiculous number like plus 12. Now, by the way, guys, there was a fake post that went around earlier, and that actually someone had sent it to me, and I thought it was real because it was an identical copy of a real account that does this. There was an Atlas Intel poll that was shared around earlier that was not a real poll. I went through Atlas. I didn't see anything that was new. It was my fault. I should have actually gone out there and actually double check the account. But it looked exactly like the other one, and it showed essentially showed everybody was tied, which I thought was pretty interesting. Except Mayoras was up 7 or something. Now I don't know if that was intentionally put out to hype people up or something, but that was a fake poll. Try not to share fake polls. They've got enough fake ones. Like we don't need to publish more fake ones. So let's actually if there's real polls, please send the real ones out because I'd actually look at those rather than something have to go try and find one that was fake. But anyway, the Democrats are just in a full tailspin in Virginia. They are losing their minds in Virginia, and this is actually, I'm pretty sure this is actually from Town Hall. Town Hall talked about this earlier today because there was a couple things that came out. So there was this whole interview that Town Hall had the exclusive on. I think I shared it earlier. Maybe I didn't share it, actually. I think I sent it to somebody else. But at one point, one of their staffers was talking about, they had the exclusive on it. And they said that, Abigail Spanberger was taking AIPAC money, and the staffer was lamenting how she was taking AIPAC money. Very upset about that. Yeah, here it is here. So I've got this pulled up here. So I thought this is pretty funny. I did want to play this here because the fact that...
Are you running wire?
Wow, that's loud. All right, hold on a second here. Sorry.
Yes, she's taken like 8.
Way too much background noise. There we go. Okay, so let me play this. There we go. Much better.
She has. I know that was also a huge concern for some of our voters too. Should I not have told you that? Are you running wire? She doesn't need any more money. It would be a crime, honestly. You guys gave her more money. No more money. No more money. She has enough. I promise you. She has enough. She does not need any more money. I'm not optimistic. I mean, I know she's gonna win because I just have to believe she's gonna win. But like, she wins and then what? And then what? She wins and then what? It's supposed to be just magically better after she wins. Yes, she's taken like AIPAC money.
So you gotta love this. This is from an Abigail Spanberger. I am not optimistic. But I believe she's gonna win. She's gonna win, but I'm not optimistic. And she's taken AIPAC money, but the AIPAC money, the only reason this is funny is because the left has a rabidly furious base that has anything to do with Israel or Jews at all. Like these people are, you know who I'm speaking of, the ones that are literally, attacking people at student events and whatnot. So how are they going to explain this one to their radical base? She's got AIPAC money, guys. Oh no. So I left that alone earlier. I sent it to a couple people in group chats. I was like, let the left eat that up, because their radicals are not going to be okay with that, which I just find hysterical. But this isn't even the full clip. There's more of it, which is what the one I believe you sent me earlier, which is her. I think that was the second one, which is her talking about vote for the black lady who wants to bring slavery back. I think that's right. I think it's in the same segment here. So let me go ahead and look at this one.
Right. Yep. It was hard to hear too, by the way. So, but yeah, that's right.
Oh, it was hard for you to hear it?
Yeah, but who knows? I'm probably where X just absolutely sucks.
Well, for me, it was so loud that I turned it down some. So maybe it was just me that was hearing it too loud.
For example, I know she's former law enforcement. CIA agent, literally. Which is crazy. Vote for the CIA agent, guys. What the I don't know what happened. We're in like the darkest timeline. Our only choices are between a black woman, which ordinarily all for, but this time, you think that we should bring back slavery. And look, it's crazy. Even with that, it's like, okay, either vote for the black woman who thinks that slavery should be brought back, or vote for the white woman who is in the CIA. They pay me really, really good money, okay? They pay me really good money, and I'm going to use the money to finish college. There's just such a disconnect between the person that we're voting for, the work that we do, and the numerical aspect of it. Like, all of it doesn't feel cohesive, copacetic. It feels like I'm a sales representative.
Ooh, my goodness, dude. That is brutal. I hadn't heard this one yet, dude. That is brutal. Feels like I'm a sales representative? Wow. That sounds like a campaign that really, really believes in their candidate. What do you guys think? I really believe in my candidate. I'm a sales representative for a woman that I don't like. Now, normally I'd like black people, but this black woman wants to bring back slavery. What? What did they tell these poor people? Like, can you imagine how horrible it must be to be a leftist on a regular basis? Like, what is your life like? Like, where do you even get that? Like, what on earth is it that you even, like, where did that even remotely come from? The idea that Winsome Sears, that she wants to bring back slavery. What? I don't even understand. But I think the rest of this is actually worse than that somehow. It's just, I don't believe in her at all. I don't actually think that I agree with anything that she's doing. I'm just a sales representative, and they pay me really well. Like, ooh, that's brutal stuff right there, dude.
Yeah, but I don't know how to get it to Virginia voters. I would hope that they can get it there. I just, great. Winston Sears did a great hit with Megyn Kelly tonight. I mean, I listened to part of it by the time I made it home, and we started the show. But how do you get this there, right? How does this get there? And here's the thing: is that the early voting in Virginia has really messed this race up.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and of course, right. We can all make those arguments. We all understand that argument, but it actually has, because I suspect there is a lot of people who may have cast their vote a little too soon and are probably regretting that vote. I just hope it was. I mean, the data. So, okay, let me back this up a little bit, because I'm saying something positive. So I was listening on the way home to Megyn Kelly's show, and she was on fire today. She went nuts. In her Megyn Kelly way, she was on fire. But she did bring on Winsome Sears onto the show. You guys probably should go watch it. But Winsome was talking about the internal data and the things that we've been talking on this show about. And she's saying that, yeah, I could be down to, I could be neutral, or I could be up to. The data that we're looking at is very indicative of the people that they're sending to the state. Well, we talked about this, the top Democrats, Obama and everybody else that was sent to the state. If does Abigail Spanberger look like somebody that's up 7 points? And our answer on this show for forever is no. She's not acting as if she's 7 points up at all, let alone the 17 or the 10 or whatever they're trying to, pull people into believing. But we do need to crack this. I mean, I think Virginia voters do need to hear this stuff. I mean, it's beyond. We all know this. I mean, we understand the consultant class. We understand inside the Beltway stuff. We all understand all this. But I don't think a lot of voters do. And I think that a lot of voters do intend to approach things honestly from an honest place, and they don't realize like how evil and disgusting these people are behind the scenes. And you're seeing it and you're hearing it right there. Like it's crazy to me. And so, how do you get it to the voters? I don't know, but we got to keep pushing, I guess.
Well, that one specifically that was just played there, Greg Pice, I think he pulled the wrong section out of that. Like, I understand the black woman who wants to bring back for slavery, the white woman, but I think the worst part of that clip, and I actually grabbed it, so I just downloaded it. I'm going to fix this up and see if I can clean up some of that audio so it's easier for people to hear, because I think the worst part of that is actually further into it, where they're talking about, they're talking about, well, I don't actually like my job, and I don't actually like Abigail Spanberger. They just pay me really well, and I'm a sales representative. Like, that's brutal. That's your own campaign. Like, and this is your own campaign staff saying this. Like, that's brutal. I mean, that means that these people don't believe in you at all. You're just paying them very well. Like, and she talks about in the other clip that she just has a whole bunch of money. She doesn't need any more money. She's even got APAC money. Like, oh my goodness. Like, if your whole, let me just break this for you for a little bit here. If your whole campaign doesn't even believe in the candidate that they're representing, then you're going to lose. Like, I'm sorry. Like you need people to believe in you. You can't just buy campaigns. Okay, that doesn't work normally. Now, in a few years ago, that wasn't true. You could just AstroTurf everything, and then you try to put any messaging out anywhere, and everyone just it just deletes it automatically, and then they ban all the people that were against you, and then it wouldn't have mattered, and no one ever heard about it. Okay, but that's not the world we live in anymore. Like, the message will get out somehow. Okay, even if it has to hit ads. They need to buy ad spend to do it. They will still get the message out there somehow. And like this message right here, I'll make sure this goes viral. Like, I mean, that's one that I'll make sure gets out there. I mean, hey, like your whole campaign staff doesn't believe in you. How is that even a campaign then? Like, that means that your own staff doesn't like you, which is no surprise. I mean, you just look at her. Okay, like, I mean, let me just here's a great earlier today, Matt Walsh actually talked about Abigail Spanberger because of her recent comments on the trans issue. And I want to give Matt this, like, it's a 4-minute clip or so on this, but it's worth listening to because it actually plays a section of a clip that I haven't played on the show of Abigail Spanberger talking about the trans issue, which was just fantastic. I mean, it's just another one of her famous bits, but Matt's response to it was hysterical. So I want to play this real quick here so you guys can listen to this, because this is the kind of, like, you wonder why people don't like her. It's because of this. This is why people don't like her. You can't AstroTurf these candidates into existence anymore when your candidate can't speak.
So Abigail Spanberger, a few days out from the election,
volume
has to this point kind of avoided the trans topic like all Democrats do now. But now she's finally answered it, sort of, although not really. And just to show you how terrified Democrats are to say anything intelligible about this topic, I want you to listen to how Spanberger handles this, when she's asked about it. This apparently is on Katie Couric's YouTube channel. So listen to this.
And I think the real challenge is there's a lot of people who've never met a trans person, whether they're a trans youth or an adult, and so there's a real effort to engage in some level of fear mongering. And I really do believe that we should, as a society as a whole, demonstrate a fair amount of grace to people who are confused about, when we're talking about bathrooms or when we're talking about sports participation, like what are we talking about? And I recognize, and I'm a parent. I've got 3 daughters in Virginia public schools, and so I understand the fact that there may be confusion about what is my opponent, as a very clear example, kind of threatening, and importantly, the willingness to fearmonger with or against kids who are trying to figure out who they are, who are in a challenging point in their life. Middle school and high school isn't easy for most people, let alone if you might be struggling with or trying to come to terms with your identity. And so just as a basic issue of principle, I do find it really objectionable that, that there would be kids who turn on the television and is in an effort to attack me, see images of themselves sort of reflected as a villain.
Okay, so I've transcribed the key part of Abigail's answer, if you can call it an answer. And here's what she said. I really do believe that we should, as a society as a whole, demonstrate a fair amount of grace to people who are confused about, when we're talking about bathrooms or when we're talking about sports, what are we talking about? And, I recognize, and I'm a parent, I've got 3 daughters in Virginia public schools. And so I understand that there may be confusion about, what is my opponent, as a very clear example, kind of threatening. And importantly, the willingness to fearmonger with or against kids who are, trying to figure out who they are. That's a verbatim transcript. And as I read it, I feel like I'm having a stroke. I feel like Joe Biden. I feel like I've contracted dementia somehow. Now, we know based on context clues that Spanberger is attempting to say that she's okay with dudes in the girls' bathroom. That's her position. That's what she's attempting to sort of gesture towards that position. But the actual answer is incoherent. I mean, those aren't even sentences. Fear-mongering with or against kids? What? Fear-mongering with kids? I understand there may be confusion about what is my opponent, as a very clear example, kind of threatening. I understand there may be confusion about what is my opponent, as a very clear example, kind of threatening. That's not a sentence. Those are words, but they don't mean anything. There's no way to even make sense of that. Well, I do know what it means.
So, and there was Matt Walsh talking about that, and that was just hysterical to me because this is the same comment we've made many times. And surprisingly, the amazing thing about that is that was actually one of her better answers. Like, if you guys remember some of the other ones that we've played on the show before, where they're way more drawn out. Like, if she goes into the Supreme Court somehow in executive orders and Trump and bathroom policies that Trump is instating through executive orders and whether those are legal based on these different Supreme Court cases. Like, I mean, normally the answer is at least 2.5 minutes of just complete, utter, nonsensical argument. I mean, this one, though, it was very funny to listen to Matt talk about it because he's like, that's not even a sentence. And it's like, no one has any idea what she's saying, okay? No one has any idea. No one's got any clue what she's talking about, and least of all her, which is why Winston got that moment in the debate. I mean, that's exactly why. Someone said, did Abby not take speech 101 at UVA? Good question. No, I don't think so. I think she attended, we brought this up before. She was actually summa cum laude at Kamala Harris's Word Salad University. She attended. She was top of her class. She aced every test. So, that's why we get some of these answers out of Abigail Spanberger, because she learned from the best. Okay. She sat down with Kamala and she said, listen, I know you're retarded and I need to learn how to speak just like you. And that's how this worked out. And, that's why we've got Abigail Spanberger. She sat down with Hillary and Kamala Harris and figured out this is, if I want to sound like I cannot answer any question that somebody gives me, this is how you do it. And she aced it, nailed it. And she has never been able to answer a question coherently. So I just find it amazing, though, that, finally other people are starting to catch on. Like, what now? What did she say? Like, yeah, no. I mean, I have that super long one of the posts that when Nick Minaj confronted her, and I did the same thing. I transcribed it. It is a completely incoherent paragraph. Like, it's just a giant long run-on sentence that doesn't mean anything at all, and no one has any idea what it is. Like, okay, just translation. Yes, you agree with men and women's sports. Like, that's the only thing you need to get out of it. So, these people are amazing, though. I mean, it's like a Spanberger, and you wonder why her staff doesn't like her at all. And tells people in interview, or, I guess it was a hidden recording, whatever, but, tells people in public. I mean, it's not like she's like in some secret room or something. They're sitting in a restaurant. Like, she's sitting in an open restaurant. There's other people walking around in the background. She's like, yeah, I don't like her at all, but they pay me really well. And I'm not optimistic. She's going to lose, but, she's got to win, though. She has to. I have to believe she's going to win, even though I'm not optimistic and I don't like her. And the only reason I'm here is because she's going to pay me enough that I can pay off my college. Yes. Sounds like a confident campaign. Confidence just emerges from this campaign. Can you not feel the confidence? Can you not feel the confidence, Chad? What do you guys think? Does that staffer in all of the actions that you've seen over the past week. We're now bringing in the legislators so that they can get Winsome off the trail, bringing Obama, Pete Buttigieg, Andy Bashir, Jasmine Crockett, Bill Nye the Science Guy. I mean, what the? Yes, confidence. 12 points up, 80 bazillion points up. You know, the Kalshi betting markets are, and they're just 97-0. Like, there's no way that Winsome Sears is going to win. Like, you know, whoever is betting on that much money, like, if you really believe that, like, I already told you I put money on it, okay? Like, I went to Polymarket and I was like, that's not accurate, okay? That is a completely manipulated, like, there's not enough money in it, so someone just manipulated it intentionally. And we saw what happened with the day that someone determined that they were not going to make it, they needed to get their money out, and that was the day that Jay Jones went from being, you know, it was a very similar a very similar result on the Kalshi betting market there. And then within like an hour, it went all the way up in the opposite direction because they were like, oh, nope, he's going to lose. They're like, oh, pull the money out of there. You know, get that out of there. We can't manipulate that one anymore. We know we're going to lose our money. So whoever it was just dropped everything out of that. So yeah, I cannot imagine that this is going to be a well-organized campaign if your own staff does not like you. Just saying. I mean, this woman works for her. And we've also heard other things. I mean, there was other rumors about her staff saying there was some staffer that came out a few months, I think it was about a month or two ago, and said that he was furious because of the racism found within that. And that was never proven. That was a rumor, but I don't know. It seems pretty logical to me, seeing how the rest of their stuff that they put out has been reasonably racist and they don't seem to care. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's true as well. Your own staff doesn't like you. You've got the entire top line of the Democrat Party arriving on the ground to campaign for you, and you're changing the legislator. Yes, 10 points up. Sure, we believe you. We promise.
We pinky swear. By the way, this is an unseen clip that I have not seen. I believe one of our listeners here on X dropped it down below. Daily Caller had a expose, and I haven't checked chat, so it's probably been sent around, but I haven't seen it. And rarely do we hear anything from Hashmi.
Sorry, guys, we lost the X feed. It's coming back in now.
Anything from Hashmi in Virginia at all. But this Daily Caller clip, there's a shorter clip that's pretty damning. This technology on this platform, man.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So you were in the middle of explaining the Daily Caller thing. Go ahead.
Yep. Daily Caller piece came out about 4 hours ago, and they've got Hashmi on tape talking about she doesn't really care about men and girls' bathrooms, things like that.
Oh, that's nice. I mean, look, these people are all radicals, okay? It's not surprising. It shouldn't be, at least. I mean, this is the most radical ticket that the Virginia Democrats have ever put up, without question. Without question. And here's the thing, like, I don't know why they do this. They just anoint people and just determine that, yeah, our voters are idiots. We don't need to actually have primaries. We don't need to actually select people and let the voters decide. We don't need to actually have people be challenged because our media friends won't ask questions. And we figure we can just, shoo them in there anyway. I mean, Abigail Spanberger, like, when she went to that debate, she was just trounced. No one can argue that she wasn't trounced. She just looked horrible. She got crushed. She got crushed, and she got crushed because she's never been challenged. Not once. Not one single time. And, they think they're going to get away with it because they're early voting numbers. That's what they think it is. The early voting numbers for the Democrats usually peak around August 9th. So the debate it's that same week that the debate was. That's when their early voting numbers normally peak. So they figure their early voters are in. Then they're just going to astroturf it with as many ads as they possibly can leading into the election, and the media won't ask any questions. Well, the problem is that, you've got lunatics around you, okay? And your staff doesn't like you. If we're not going to get you on camera and we're not going to hear you talk, then we'll go talk to your staff, and it looks like that's what's happening. Hashmi, on the other hand, she got destroyed by John Reed when he did that. I don't know if you guys saw how viral that went. That when he debated the empty podium. That was on like every single local news channel in the country. I saw that afterwards. He put a great video out of him scrolling through all of the different local news organizations that played that. Very funny. I mean, it was great. It was a great idea. Just, she's not going to debate. I'll debate the empty podium. And he just kept looking at the podium as he asked questions and said things. It was very funny. And it's a great move. But Hashmi is another radical, so I'm not surprised that she's caught on tape saying ridiculous stuff. I'll have to check that out, though. I haven't even seen that one yet.
Yeah, I just sent it to you in the DM, so we can play it. Actually, it's only about 3 minutes long. The full clip. I sent you both the cut clip and then the full clip, which is about 3 minutes.
Yeah, let's check this out.
First one.
Yep, sorry, hold on. I just need to get the correct share up. There we go. Okay. Yeah, so this is the 3-minute one here. Is this the correct one or is there a cut one?
There's a cut one above it if you want to just cut to the chase. But I mean, the 3 minutes might be valuable. But yeah, there's a cut clip I sent you.
Oh, that's a 10-second. Let's do the 3-minute because it might actually have something else in here like the other one. Because the other one, yeah, let's play this because this is useful stuff for us. We'll be able to play and use this stuff.
Is there anyone else who wishes to speak in opposition? Thank you.
Morning, Madam Chair. I did stop by your office.
It's evening now, Phil.
Oh, it's excuse me?
It's evening now. We started this.
Right. Sorry, I didn't think the bill was coming up today, and obviously the amendments improve the bill, but I share Senator Howe's concern. I think the idea of labeling books is really going to attract attention to them. And the Virginia Library Association does support our school librarians in their opposition to this bill. As I've said before, I really think this is in part about parental responsibility as well, and telling their kids what they shouldn't take out of the library. And if a kid is going to check out books like this after their parents have told them not to, they've got a bigger problem. And school librarians will work with parents. If parents tell them they don't want their children checking out any of these types of books, they will work with them and not allow them to check out those books.
So you are saying that there are policies in place that our school librarians typically follow in terms of making sure that parents.
Correct.
Okay,
May I
thank
ask
you.
him a question?
You may.
My question is this: if I'm a parent with 4 kids, just hypothetically, and my child brings home a book that sounds neutral in nature, how am I as a parent supposed to read every last book that my child brings home if I have multiple kids? I mean, I think we need some type of label, and correct me if I'm wrong, but there is no, under the current system, there is no label, no warning, nothing that would alert the parent to any type of sexually explicit material in that book for our elementary school kids and our middle school kids, correct?
Correct. I appreciate the question. I think, parents are involved with their kids, and you're talking about pictures in the books, which I don't think are that hard to tell. I'm not aware, at least in elementary school, of any books like this there. I think there have been some issues in middle schools, but I think that's something that the parent can work with the librarian and ask them not to allow their children to take out any books that aren't appropriate for that age. I understand your concern, but I do think pictures are pretty easy to tell if there's a problem in the book.
I mean, but I think in the middle school level, that we're past the picture books, though.
I think we won't engage in a debate, but thank you for your comments.
Okay,
Senator
so
Howell,
right
were
there,
you gonna
I set this clip
okay.
up very poorly.
Is there anyone else who wishes to speak?
Which point
I
there?
set that clip up very poorly because I'm getting sent all kinds of things right now. It's going crazy. I was confusing the two. This is about sexually explicit material in books. Sorry about that bad setup on that one. That was my fault. That's even worse. Do you want to play that last short clip there?
Well, it looks like she's about to sit down and actually say something to this woman too. So is this
go for it.
there's another there's another 30 seconds here. So let's see what else she has to say.
In opposition to the bill.
Move to report.
I'll just say one of my concerns is violence. We seem to focus on sexual explicit material. I don't really care about that. I care about the gratuitous violence that children are exposed to, not necessarily through books, but through all of the other.
Okay, so there's the I don't really care. Like, I don't really care about the sexually explicit books. So that just means you're okay with the crazy gender queer crap that is being pushed in elementary schools and middle schools. That's what that means. I don't really care.
And she condescendingly snickered about it. She's like, what sexually explicit material for kids? I don't really care. I'm just more concerned about the violence. And by the way, I don't want to be presumptuous, but I think what she's saying there is the violence against trans people for being different. I think that's where she was going with that, by the way.
I'm sure it was. I mean, I'm sure that's exactly what she was doing there. I mean, that's a pretty damning clip right there. Just like, I don't really care about the sexually explicit content in your elementary schools. That doesn't mean anything to me. I'm Hashmi, the woman that claims that she's I don't know, she looks pretty white to me. I keep saying that, but that's bitch looks white.
Yeah, it's
Sorry.
weird.
The bitch looks
Weird,
white.
sorry. Yeah,
Sorry.
this bitch looks white.
Bitch looks white to me. I mean, I keep saying that. I mean, she swears she's an Indian from wherever, and she immigrated from Georgia. Well, I don't know. Her driver's license says she's
Okay.
white. Bitch looks white. I think we got another
Bitch
fake
looks
Indian.
white.
I mean, I'm just gonna start calling. I never could come up with a name, or I can't call her Pocahontas. There's got to be like what's like another Indian princess name? Like I need an Indian princess name for her. Like it needs to be something like that. Like I mean, I can't use Jasmine or something. Like that's like Middle Eastern. Like I need like a specific Indian like princess name. Like is there any like what are all the different like Indian princesses from Disney movies? Does anyone have one that's like super memorable? Because I can't think of one. I mean, we need to come up with some name for her because I'm just going to start calling her that. I mean, just her driver's license says white. Okay, I don't know. You prove it wrong. It's on your driver's license, not mine. So I'd like to know why.
I mean, you can't put up 1/1000th
That's
and
right.
call yourself an Indian, right? You can't do that, right? God, we almost got to play that clip. It's such that Dave Smith bit about
there's people
Elizabeth
saying
Warren.
Hiawatha. I don't know who the hell that is, guys. It's got to be way more
Yeah,
memorable than
Princess
that.
Hiawatha. Sure. Yeah.
Hiawatha. Is that something that
Yeah.
I should know? Is there a reason I don't know that? What is that from? Is that from Disney?
No, it's like a legit historical person.
Oh,
But
so you see, that's the problem. You need something that's like in pop culture. It needs to be funny. Like Pocahontas. Everybody knows Pocahontas. Okay, but we need like that's it. Sacagawea.
there you go.
That's it. Sacagawea. It's Sacagawea, everybody. All right, so Sacagawea, the lieutenant governor candidate, Sacagawea here. This woman does not care about your children at all in any of her. So that's official now. She's now been named Sacagawea. Sacagawea Hashmi. That's that fits. I'm fine with that. That works for me. So I think that's perfect. Thank you, Jacktron, for that. I like that. Sacagawea. We have another fake Indian. I want a DNA test immediately. I will give her money. I promise. $100,000 if you take a DNA test, Hashmi. You heard it right here. I'll give you $100,000 if you take a DNA test proving that you're an Indian. Let's get that going there. So
You're literally making it impossible not to play this Dave Smith clip.
And listen,
like you're literally.
Listen, this clip the clip from Dave Smith is great. We played it on the show a whole bunch. We don't need to play it again. But I just have to say, she just looks white. I'm sorry. It's on her driver's license too. It's not my fault. Okay. Like if I hadn't seen her driver's license thing where it said that she was in a car accident and that it listed her race as white, then maybe I'd have a different opinion. But I don't. I think it's a Freudian slip. I didn't think she ever think anybody would ever see her driver's license. So
well, we have two different listeners on the on X on the Spaces here that have both come up with Hiawatha.
Hiawatha is pretty solid as well. But the thing is, it has to be something that everybody knows. And Sacagawea, I think, is pretty solid. And everyone knows Sacagawea. That's a good one. I mean, that's something that every kid knows. Like every kid's ever has heard of Sacagawea at some point. So, it can't be Pocahontas. So Sacagawea is a solid choice. Unless someone can come up with one that is more memorable than Sacagawea or Pocahontas, then I don't know. I think I'm going to have to go with Sacagawea. So Sacagawea, the lieutenant governor candidate that won't debate John Reed, she claims she's an Indian, but it says that she's white on her driver's license. So, as far as I'm aware, that bitch looks white. I mean, she just does. Sorry. I mean, I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Here we are. So yeah, and here's the thing, like Hashmi, Sacagawea, she has hid from the press, obviously didn't show up for any kind of debates, just wants to run the basement strategy, much similar to a Joe Biden. The thing is, that works on a national level. I mean, I understand that, it worked here in Arizona, but although there was some kind of collusion there about calling Maricopa in 2020, but nevertheless, Katie Hobbs did run a basement strategy, essentially, in 2022, I want to say. Yeah. So, I mean, she did run and she ran from the cameras. She ran from people here, but she's now governor of my state. And what an atrocious governor she is. But I don't think Hashmi's going to get away with it. And clips like this, like the snarky like dismissive, arrogant laugh, like I don't really actually care about sexually explicit material that kids may take home, and and I don't really care whether or not your family of four gets to look at sexually explicit books. I don't care about that. I just care about violence against the trans people for their reaction to their behavior. That's again damning. It's so frustrating. It's so frustrating being an American, especially America First, and really actually wanting to protect our kids and actually wanting to get these things out of schools. It's so frustrating that instead, what people do is they don't pay attention to anything going on. They just go out and sing songs about no kings. And like these are just very stupid, stupid, stupid people. And I'm tired of it. I'm just really tired of it.
Sorry, I'm pulling something up here because I needed to look at something. So, oh my God, it's worse than I thought. So someone tagged me in this photo, okay? And this photo was a photo of Gavin Newsom and Barack Obama, okay? And the photo said that Barack Obama and Gavin Newsom had a call, a nationwide voter something call, okay? And now I'm looking at this. So for 20 minutes on this is here. I'll pull this up on the screen so people can see what this was.
I couldn't
right?
validate this.
No, listen to me. Just hold on a minute here. I just did. Okay. I just did, actually. So it says Gavin Newsom is hosting a live with Barack Obama on YouTube, and only 264 people are watching, and they've been on for 20 minutes. Now, I went to go look for this, and I had to prove it. So I went over to YouTube and found it. So one day ago, 5,000 people. That's it.
That's weird that I couldn't find it because I went looking.
They didn't keep it. You had to go through Newsom's page, and later, like way down on his page, you found it. So that's unbelievable. So Gavin Newsom and Barack Obama together had a YouTube thing where they were on a volunteer call with it says it right here, nationwide volunteer call with Gavin Newsom and President Barack Obama. And this is on Yes for 50 here. So just look at this. You can see the numbers here. I'll zoom in so you guys can see this here.
50.
Literally 5,100 views streamed one day ago. That's what that says down there at the bottom, guys. That is unbelievable. And that is hysterical. He had 5,000 people tune in. That's what we get in a night. Like, I'm not joking. Right. That's our normal audience on this show. But we used to be a lot higher before they started throttling us on X Spaces. But 5,000 in a day, like that's literally family and friends. Like that's like, that's nobody saw that. That's amazing. How do you do that?
I know. I don't know because I went looking for it myself, and all I came up with was a different podcast, something with Newsom or whatever it was, something with Gavin or Gavin with something. And I tried to find it because it didn't make sense to me, right? If you guys remember when you signed up on X, right? Maybe you had an old account. I created a new account in 2022. But when you sign up on Instagram or when you sign up on Facebook, as an example, or you sign up on X, you're always presented with following Barack Obama. And he's supposed to be like the most popular person of all time. And he's got 100 million followers and blah, 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 or whatever it is. I find it fascinating that Gavin Newsom, who's supposed to be the most popular governor of all time, and the most popular president of all time, Barack Obama, is what they tell us, that they garner 5,000 views after a day on an interview between the two.
Listen,
that's crazy.
It's ridiculous, dude. It's like, it's almost as bad as what's her name, Mike's podcast, Michelle Obama. I'm sorry, Mike, but Mike, Big Mike's podcast, right? So, do you guys ever go look into that, like their actual numbers? Like these people are supposedly everyone, according to everybody that's ever existed on the left, these are the most popular people. Most popular. Everybody loves them. They were the most loved. Everybody loved Michelle and Mike. Everybody loved these people. They were hailed by the media. And you go look at Michelle's like podcast views, even like the opening episode didn't even get like 1 million views. Like it got like nothing. Like no one watched it. No one cared. Not one person cared. Like I don't even know what they're getting now. Do they even still do it? Is it still on? I haven't seen clips from it in a while.
Michelle's? No, I don't know. She's probably stopped because all she did was talk about how terrible her husband was and how much she hates him. I mean, that's essentially all she did for whatever the episodes that I saw was like 3 or 4. I mean, I didn't watch them. I watched clips from them, and it was typically Michelle Obama talking about how much she hates Barack Obama and they're going to get divorced and how much of a terrible person he is.
Sorry.
And then he would go out and also go out and say, how terrible of a husband he was, and how much Michelle hates him, and this humiliation ritual, whatever. I don't know how compelling that was, but I just, again, I would like to remind people these are supposed to be the most popular people of all time in politics ever, and nobody cares. Speaking of, by the way, about an hour ago,
So hold on a minute here. I went
Abigail
over.
Spanberger
I went over here to just double check and see, look at some of these numbers on here.
would love.
So a couple months ago, so this is the ones that have been up for over 6-7 months now, don't even have 500,000 views. Like they don't. Like the top one is Obama from 3 months ago, and that has 1.6 million views. That's it. From for months on end, the most popular people in all of history. The one that she just had a day
so
ago.
again, that's my point. The math ain't mathin'.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you saw this while we're still talking about Virginia. Apparently, about an hour ago, Abigail Spanberger put out her and her joint message with Pete Buttigieg. I've sent this to you as well.
Oh God.
Have not watched it. Don't need to. I'm willing to watch it or listen to it on the show. I suspect this is not going to turn out the way that they hoped it would turn out.
Yeah, let's take a look here. Now, Pete Buttigieg, the greatest. Oh my goodness. Well, look at this video. I can hear the cringe before I've even played it. Like, I can see it. I can see the cringe in the video. Okay, let's go ahead and see what they have to say. My goodness. Mayor Pete, Pothole
Hey everyone,
Pete,
it's
what's
Pete
up?
Buttigieg.
And Abigail Spanberger.
Election day is November 4th, which means there are less than 2 weeks remaining for early vote.
Go vote early. Early vote ends November 1st, so you can vote from now until November 1st early. If you've got that mail-in ballot on your counter, make sure you drop it in a drop box or in the mail quickly.
This is an all-important election, so
Look at the
visit
hands.
abigailspanberger.com/vote if you'd like more information about how to find your polling place and how to make sure that your voice is heard.
Every vote counts. Virginia, let's get out and vote, and let's win this election.
Hey everyone,
Well, that looked confident. What is with the hands, though? Okay, like seriously, like she did the whole maracas hands. She did it in the middle of this. You see this here? Right there. There we go. Got it. Maraca hands. There they are. This is a common theme amongst all Democrats. They all have maraca hands. I don't know why. I don't know why they have maraca hands, but they all have maraca hands. It's very common. It's a known feature amongst Democrats. They seem to only be able to shake their hands in maraca form for some weird reason. I don't know why they do this. But it's just like look at all these weird hand motions throughout this whole thing. Like, here we go. Here's another one. What are these people doing? I don't understand. But no, I don't think so. There we go. I like that still. I'm going to save that one. But I don't know what exactly these people are doing. No one cares about Mayor Pete here being in the first place. Like, Mayor Pete's not popular. And further than that, I do find I love that we talked about Pete yesterday, by the way, because we just talked about how he polls at 0 with the minority voters, 0, low, quite low, under indexes with black voters. And I think the biggest reason that they're having a huge issue is because Winsome Sears is actually polling quite well with the black voters in Virginia. So I think that bringing Mayor Pete in was maybe a mistake on their part, and I don't know why. I mean, I don't know why he's not. He doesn't seem very enthusiastic. I'll just say that. Doesn't seem to be very moving in this image here or any of this video. So I don't know. Mayor Pete, we'll see what he's doing here, but I don't think so, man. I think that they're in trouble.
No, I think they're in serious trouble. And the one person, after all the assets that were deployed to Virginia in this last stretch of the election, you chose to do a side-by-side with Mayor Pete. And to be clear, this is what America First and MAGA has been fighting against for a long time. It is the consultant class, the useless the useless people inside the Beltway that want to keep the grift going and want to keep the money going. And so it's obviously been tested from whomever they're testing. When you move your hands more, this is why Hakeem Jeffries, who is terrible at it, by the way, continually moves their hands and they draw attention to the hands. So you're not actually listening to what they're saying, but they're saying with authority because they're using their hands. This is like the same type consultant crap. And this is everything that we fought against. And this is the sludge. This is the swamp. And this is the epitome of it. And like your first side by side with the Democrat assets that have been deployed to Virginia was with Mayor Pete. It must be really bad.
Mayor Pete, baby. Pothole Pete. I don't know.
Chest feeder Pete.
Chest feeder. That's right. Chest feeder Pete. You know, I don't know. These people are something else. You know, but so some people say, by the way, we have a couple comments here. Some people did not know who Sacagawea is. Okay, so if you don't know who Sacagawea is, then I don't know. Maybe we need to come up with a different name for Hashmi. Because it needs to be something that everybody remembers. I like Sacagawea, though. For some reason, it fits. You know, I don't know. It just kind of looks like her. You know, Sacagawea, Hashmi. I don't know. Maybe we need to come up with a better one, though. We'll think about it.
We got to work on it.
We'll work on it. But I mean, it's a real question, though. I mean, I just want to offer $100,000 reward for her to take a DNA test. I promise I'll pay it. Come on, take the DNA test. Just do it. Just do it. How do you think we could actually do that? Like, if we got enough people involved to ask for a DNA test to prove that she's an Indian, that would be amazing if we could actually repeat the Trump moment. But I don't know. She doesn't answer any questions at all. So I don't think, I mean, she won't even debate. She won't even show up for an actual debate at all. So I'm not sure if that would work, but I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, I think so too. I think so as well. It reminds me, watching their hands right now, it reminds me of Vincent from Valuetainment with Patrick Bet-David when he did that bit about Gavin Newsom after the Palisades fire. Do you remember this?
Yes. I love it.
It's one of the best.
I love all these. Dude, so apparently, so Sacagawea, apparently that was the woman from that was the Indian that they used in the Night from the Museum movie. So people would remember that one, actually. That's why I remember it, probably. I mean, I'm sure I remember it from other historical references as well, but that's probably why it stands out to me. So maybe that's maybe that's what we stick with. I don't know. I'll have to workshop it a little bit, see if it fits in a little little video or something that I can use. But I think it works. There's something about it. Something about that face, Sacagawea, Hashmi. I think it's a good idea. I think it'll work.
Yeah, we can pen test it. Maybe Sean Hannity can come out with it when he comes out with all of his nicknames all the time. But yeah.
Yep. Well, guys, this is Political Theater, weeknights at 9. Thank you guys for joining us this evening. We're just having some fun here. We've gone through Virginia. We went through the FBI story earlier with the NBA and the entire, 5 families of New York apparently being involved in that. And we were talking about the cartels getting blown to smithereens and that Trump's just going to make them dead, which I found very entertaining. And I think he needs to do more of that. There's also the White House. I don't know if you guys saw earlier that they started putting up all the renovations that were done to the White House on the White House app. So they've got an entire section of the app that's designed to doing that now, which I think is great. But thank you guys for showing up this evening. We're in the final bit of this show. Normally for the final section of this show, we usually open it up to the audience. So if you guys are on X and listening on X Spaces, you can request to come up on the stage and you can ask us questions or you can throw in some commentary, whatever you guys want to talk about. So if you guys want to do that, you are welcome to do so now. If you're listening on YouTube or Substack or Rumble, wherever you guys may be listening, you need to join X and go to @WC Dispatch, or I'm sorry, @Trash Discourse or @TPT, or I think it's TPT 2025 is the Political Theater X account. So if you guys want to check that out, if you guys want to come up on stage and ask questions, you're welcome to do so now. We're just hanging out for the last little bit here, and we'll take a couple questions. We'll hang out for a little bit longer, and then we'll shut down for the evening. And I think that, yeah, that's right. This show is the last live show of this week. I think, Trash, are you going to have one tomorrow? Are you going to open the space tomorrow?
What do you mean? Tomorrow's Friday, correct?
Yeah, I'm not going to be here, remember? I'm traveling.
Oh, yeah, no. I mean, I might. Yeah, I might open one up.
Okay.
We'll play it by ear, yeah.
Okay, just making sure. All right, so we got Jacktron up here on stage. What's up, Jacktron?
Hey, so there was another story that came out today that Pam Bondi is now opening up investigations into J.B. Pritzker and Lori Lightfoot.
Really? I didn't see that.
For their aiding and abetting illegal aliens.
That's interesting. I hadn't seen that one yet. Send that to me. I'll have to check that out. That's pretty interesting.
I already did.
Okay. Yeah. I'll make sure to check that out because I did not see that one actually. But I'm not surprised. I mean, Pritzker's over there. I mean, wasn't there something? I think I just saw something from Pritzker earlier, actually. Didn't he have a clip or something earlier? Or maybe that's what you're talking about, actually.
No, that was because he was on Brett Baer today, and it went as well as you thought it would.
Oh, yes. That's what it was. The Brett Baer clip. So I don't think I have that yet. But we'll have to probably cover that tomorrow.
I've got it. I mean, I've got to say it. Yeah, I mean, JB Pritzker was asked, and then he kind of was dismissive about it. Here, we can play it for the space if you want, but yeah, it's right here. Here, I'll send it to you real quick so you can take a look at it. Yeah, Brett Baer kind of, put the screws on him a little bit, and then JB Pritzker probably gave the worst answer he could possibly give. Um, and he was kind of drilled on a little bit. I'm not really sure why he was even there. But yeah, to Jack's point, yeah, there was an investigation that came out because they're basically creating like a data sets and an app to track where ICE movements are, like as if these not aren't federal law
That's
enforcement
right.
agents.
Yeah, that's what it was. I
Yes.
remember hearing that and was like, the Democrats were intentionally making their own app. And that's because the previous app, the one that was on the Apple Store, that got taken off the Apple Store. So the Democrats figured they'd release their own. Like, these people are nuts. Like, I mean, what are you doing? Like, you guys, this is not a popular campaign that you're running here, this whole anti-ICE thing. It's still, at the end of the day, still anti-law enforcement. Americans don't like anti-law enforcement. That's not, like, I don't know what you're thinking. It's the same thing as the No Kings protest. Like, it's the same thing as the defund the police movement. You just relabeled it anti-ICE. Like, it's not going to be popular. I don't know why you keep doing it, but I'm curious what he has to say here. So I assume Brett Baer drills him. Why didn't he go on Brett Baer of all people? Brett Baer is not nice to
That's what I'm saying.
anybody.
Like, I
He's not
really,
nice to
it
anybody
doesn't
in
make sense
interviews.
to me. Wall.
Brett,
I don't get it.
Brett Baer's not nice to anybody in interviews. He's ruthless. So let's see what he says here.
Should the Virginia Attorney General nominee, Jay Jones, drop out of the race over those texts that have been the focus of this race?
Yeah, I think that the text that I think everybody points to, he's apologized about that. People make mistakes. They do.
So he shouldn't drop out.
It's one thing if someone's doing it repeatedly, right? If you're making comments repeatedly that are, like that no doubt that was an offensive thing to write.
You've donated $20,000 to Jay Jones' campaign.
Yeah, I didn't. I mean, that was before anybody saw the text, but it doesn't matter. The point is, if he wasn't apologizing about it, if he didn't feel bad, and if he hadn't stood up and said, this is not how I really feel, I think everybody says, things along the way, particularly in politics, when you're getting attacked, that you probably shouldn't have said.
Should the Virginia Attorney General nominee, Jay Jones...
Sorry, I'm trying to cut that off after it played a second time, but... Yeah, I don't know. That was a terrible answer, obviously. But what, again, to your point, Trash, what the hell is he doing on this? Like, what's he doing on Brett Baer? Why is Pritzker on Brett Baer? Did he think he was going to get like a softball, or something? Like, that wasn't going to happen.
No, and it's weird. And he was like, "Well, you donated 20." Well, that was before, all these things came out. So again, it's the same. You haven't listened to my plans. My plans by donating $20,000, and I'm just so offended that I have to talk about these text messages because they weren't released sooner. And had they be, and he's apologized. It's no big deal. People say things in text messages all the time. Really, because I was reliably informed, Mr. Pritzker, that the Young Republicans Club represent all Republicans around the country, and everyone should resign immediately because someone made a Hitler joke or something. I don't know. You don't get to have it both ways, and I don't. JD Pritzker, who is basically ousted by his rich family, who has doubled down on this trans ideology stuff. Like, he just loses. He takes L's everywhere he goes. And again, I still don't understand why he would actually show up on the show. And then also to give a non-answer, be like, it's no big deal. He said, I wish I wouldn't have said those things. No, you were very specific. Like, when you say you've got 2 bullets in a gun, and he's in the room. The Speaker of the House at the time, for Virginia, was in the room with Pol Pot and Hitler. That both bullets would go into his brain. That's very specific, and urinating on the dead bodies and graves of the children of this guy. I just look. It's crazy to me that any of these people still go out there and feel like they have to, like, obfuscate from it, but they're putting themselves in positions to get on, like, a mic with a Brett Baer on Fox News, being interviewed by this, and being like, yeah, he said he's sorry or something. Whatever. Do you think he should drop out? Nah, I mean, he said some things in the heat of the moment. Haven't we all? LOL. No, like, these are very specific things, and they're not okay. And it should be chastised and damned by anybody, anywhere, all the time. But that's how partisan and hacked and hackery these people are full of, and they're not here to help you in any kind of way.
Yep. Yeah, they're not. All right, so Cyber Chief, go ahead, dude.
Hi, so there's a issue of the Glock thing that was covered. I think it was Matt Walsh today talking about the Glock basically being sued into not manufacturing any guns because they couldn't be guaranteed to not be converted in an illegal way that would somehow make them outside of California law. Which, as you know, California law is very strict, and there's a lot of things that make it outside of California law, including a 10-round magazine or whatever. But the core point is this: there's a firearms policy coalition, and they have been suing in California and all of these other Democrat states that have been slowly eroding Americans' right to have guns by destroying the economics of guns. Because as people understand, like from the was it Smith and Wesson that got sued into bankruptcy? If they can bankrupt every single company that makes guns and ammo, then it doesn't matter whether you have a right, you can't exercise it. So I'd love if you guys could maybe get an interview with those people so they could explain how important the work they do is and how the Democrats are doing this like jujitsu, basically.
Well, I mean, listen,
deprive
so,
people of rights.
so it's not just, so Matt Walsh brought this up, and I actually heard this. I did listen to his bit on this. It is important. I mean, the Democrats in California will do anything to get guns off the streets, but it's not just going after Glock. One of the biggest things they actually did to go after this is actually ammo manufacturers. Okay, so this is something that started underneath Obama. They started going after ammunition manufacturers, and this was the first real hit. Okay, so they started going after these people for anything. And the other way that they did this is they actually skyrocketed the price of ammunition. It was a little known thing that Obama did at one point. Obama actually had his federal law enforcement agencies purchase all of the ammunition in the entire country all at once. Okay? Like they bought it all, every bit of it. There's probably so much ammunition sitting around in the federal government for just our law enforcement, and they did that intentionally so they could skyrocket the price of ammo. Now, and the other thing is that, yes, they also made it legal so that Remington could be sued. They're trying anything they can. Okay, they are. They are trying anything they can. The fortunate thing is that little companies are actually starting to pop up all over the place that make their own guns and do all sorts of little things like that. So it's actually kind of made the gun industry a little bit more localized, which is interesting. Like, I mean, the guns that I carry on a regular basis, like they're not even made by some big giant company. The one that I carry on a regular basis is a Daniels Defense, which is a great company. They're a little company. They're an American company. But I do agree with the concept, though, is that it shall not be infringed is very, very clear. Okay, that doesn't mean that you get to put the companies out of business that make them because you don't like them. I mean, I think that they should sue in every possible way. The one thing I will say is that the lady that runs Glock right now, I am reasonably concerned because I saw her. She randomly just started like a Twitter account or something recently, and I was looking over there, and it's like a whole bunch of pictures of it doesn't look anything to do with like. It's not talking about Glock. It's talking about her. And I was a bit concerned. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but, it's a little bit of strange messaging to me. But I agree that it is a problem, and we shouldn't let any coalition of anything have any ability to put gun businesses out of business just because they don't like them in California. I think that all gun manufacturers, here's what you should do. You should just say in California, because California is the most wokest of all states. I assume if I enter California, they just arrest me on the spot because I own guns. I think that California is a hopeless state, and then we should just eject them into the ocean at this point. And, people like, oh, we can save California. I was like, well, you guys haven't saved it yet. So until you figure it out, I don't know what to tell you. It just seems to be getting worse every year. There's no hope in sight for California. And the last thing I heard from California was the sitting California senator that told citizens to flee the state. Okay, so that's my opinion of California right now. It's like not looking great over there. But in terms of national manufacturers, it's like, I don't think that you should just sell in California, I guess. I don't know how else to go about that. If they're gonna try and write laws that it's illegal to even exist in California, that's not going to change anything. But I don't know how to fix it, really.
Well, so the whatever you want to call it, proliferation of gun manufacturing is actually a huge shift, which is kind of great. We've seen a lot of 3D printed guns and gun kits, which again may take the liability away from companies if they're able to simply sell a kit that is then very flexible in how it can be assembled by the end user, and that would be very interesting. There was a case of that gentleman from New Jersey, I believe, from New York who manufactured a gun for his own purposes, engineer, no criminal background, 40 years old, like gainfully employed gentleman of like by every definition, and then was basically sent to jail and told that there's no Second Amendment in his courtroom. I know that Viva Fry and Robert Barnes have done a lot of interviews with him, but it is interesting that the Harmeet Dillon, whatever, the Department of Justice has not been able to secure any kind of whatever you want to call it, leniency for him, because that is like.
Well, I mean, he's charged in state. He's charged in state court, and I know the guy. What's his name? Max Miller. I mean, is it Max Miller? Is that the guy's name? I can't remember his exact name, but I know who you're talking about. The problem with that is that the guy was making like rifle style weapons in New York City. That's his problem, dude. You're in New York City. You can't own anything in that city. Okay, like I mean, like I'd love to tell you that the Second Amendment is absolute and that it should be absolute, and it should be. Okay, like my state's a constitutional carry state. I don't have to worry about this stuff. Okay, but if you live in California or you live in New York City and you try to build a gun in your basement, they're gonna arrest you. Like I mean, you just be smart. Let me explain something to you. So. This is something that I tell people when you have to worry about this, especially if you're someone like me that carries on a regular basis. You can't carry and then get on a plane and then travel to New York. You can't even have a transfer flight from New York if you have a gun that is illegal in New York. They will arrest you. Okay? Yes, I agree with you. The Second Amendment should be reinforced and that we should fix all these problems, but it's not like that right now. So don't be stupid and do stupid things in these states that they have all sorts of ridiculous laws because they will arrest you. Okay? I mean, it's not a joke. Don't take your, whatever your extended clip magazine, whatever it is that you have. Don't take anything like that and stick it in your bag when you're traveling and you have to transfer through New York. They'll arrest your ass. Okay? So be very careful. Okay? What everyone should do is if you run into the scenario, you should always have gun insurance. Gun insurance usually covers you for all sorts of stuff, and I assume that any one of these companies that offers the gun carriers insurance, like my guess is that if you get sued or they try to take you to court, that would probably be the first thing they do is they rush in there because that would make their name bigger. Okay, so I would recommend everybody just go get it anyway. But again, my point is, and I know with the story of the guy in New York that he had, he was an engineer, he was not a criminal, whatever. But like, sorry, dude, you're building AR-15s in your basement in New York City. They're gonna arrest you. Okay, like, sorry, I'd love to tell you that that's not something that's gonna happen, but it is. Okay, and yes, he should fight that all the way up to the Supreme Court, and then the Supreme Court should strike it down. That's what should happen. I don't know if it is happening. I mean, I don't know if he's currently appealing, but that's probably the only way that's going to happen because in the Supreme Court, they really need to they need to really go through some of these cases. I know there's a big case in California right now, specifically on AR-15s. So, there needs to be a lot more direct and clear sentencing there needs to be a lot more clarity from the Supreme Court on the Second Amendment because it's very, very bad in some of these states. I mean, if you have a gun in certain blue cities, in certain blue states that has more than 7 bullets in it, that's illegal there, which is absurd. I mean, it's like every 9/11 has more than 7 rounds in it now. I mean, my little 9mm have more than 7 rounds in them. It's just constantly clamping down. And the left, it won't stop on that, by the way. So the only way, and I guess one of the other problems with it is that every time something gets struck down, they just write a new law because they don't care. They don't care that the Supreme Court already ruled on it. They just write another law and pass it anyway. So it's an intractable problem, really, for these super blue cities and these super blue states. Yes, you can be arrested for exercising your Second Amendment right, and as much as I'd love for that to be the thing that we don't have happen in this country, it's going to happen because lunatic leftists will have you arrested if you have guns because they don't like guns. Sorry, that's just how it works. It'd be great if we could actually stop that stuff from happening. Now, on this term for the Glock stuff, this is a bit different because it's kind of an institutional attack by a state on a company. I think that's something the federal government probably does need to get involved in with very, very directly. But in terms of, state laws, I mean, there's not much you can do about that stuff. Okay, Jacktron, let's go ahead and then we got to close down for the evening.
Right, yeah. So there was also, speaking on the case of California, that Kash Patel made a statement saying that if you harm law enforcement officers, whether you're elected officials, they will hunt you down as well. So I think that there's also something going on there, similar to what they're doing in Illinois.
Well, I do know that the law enforcement surge into San Francisco was canceled. I saw that earlier, which is too bad. I was actually looking forward to that because that would have been very interesting to see. You know, what was that going to be result in? Was the Silicon Valley Bros, were they going to get out there with their signs? I don't know. I'm not really sure how that was going to go down. But I did see that the San Francisco ICE surge was canceled as of yesterday, I think. I'd have to double check. But yeah, so that's what's going on that. But anyway, guys, I think that's it for this evening. So thank you guys for showing up this evening. This is the Political Theater, weeknights at 9. Trash Discourse, Walter Kerr. Thank you guys for showing up for the show. Make sure you guys check out all the content that we share up there on the top. Make sure you guys check out The Wellness Company and go to twc.health/TPT and use code TPT for 10% off your entire order. Thank you guys for showing up this evening. Make sure you guys subscribe to our content, and we will be back. Let's see here. So I will not be here tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm traveling. So I will not be on the show tomorrow evening, but I will be back on Monday. Trash will probably have the X space open on for tomorrow evening. If he's on here, just make sure you go find him, and the show will be on there for that. But then I will be back on Monday. I might have a show over the weekend. We will see. All right, guys. So we will be back Monday for the full show. Thank you guys for showing up, and we will see you guys next week. Thanks, guys.
Some folks are born with a liberty spark. Their hearts beat red, white, and blue. When the anchors sneer and the cameras bark, they turn the lens right back at you. Truth bound, ain't for sale, ain't for sale. We're not the party line sons, no, we ain't for sale, ain't for sale. We're the vigilant ones, so. Some folks inherit silk-lined halls, spend our sweat while preaching share. But when the tax man wraps his knuckles raw, their mansions suddenly look bare, impaired. Ain't for sale, ain't for sale. We're not their banker-raised hares, no. Ain't for sale, ain't for sale. We're the vigilant ones, so. Yes, some paint stars on press room lies and send the common men to toil. Ask them, how much truth will you trade tonight? They mutter, more noise, more noise, more noise. Ain't for sale, ain't for sale. Not the theater's pawns, friend. It ain't for sale, ain't for sale. We're America's steadfast ones. No, we won't be spun.